In the Dakang Kingdom at the southwest corner of the Mingzhou military governor's mansion, a remote small courtyard was festively decorated with lanterns. Crimson lanterns swayed in the twilight and paper-cut double happiness characters covered the window lattices, yet they could not conceal the chill emptiness of the courtyard. First bow to heaven and earth. The officiant's voice echoed in the empty courtyard. Lu Chen, dressed in a brand-new wedding robe, performed the kneeling bow with a blank expression. Out of the corner of his eye he caught sight of the middle-aged beauty sitting alone in the seat of honor, Su, the biological mother of this body, forcing a smile. 3 days ago, he was an ordinary office worker on Earth working a 996 schedule, whose previous life was ended by a meteor on his way home from work. When he opened his eyes again, he had become the 6th young master, a concubine son of this Mingzhou military governor's mansion. All people in this world possess an innate destiny, which governs all talents, aptitudes, abilities, and so forth. The hierarchy of this world is strict and clear. Officials have 9 ranks, families have 9 grades, cultivation levels also have 9 distinctions, and so does innate destiny. 9 is the lowest, 1 is the highest. As for Lu Chen's innate destiny in this life, it was merely a 9th grade little macaque. Innate destiny determines one's aptitude and bone structure. That is to say, without great fortune or opportunity, Lu Chen's cultivation limit would be the 9th grade. Without power or influence, with a poor innate destiny, mediocre cultivation aptitude, and no outstanding abilities, Lu Chen's position in the governor's mansion was thus predictable. This start is really classic. Lu Chen mocked himself inwardly. Born to a maidservant after a drunken night of Governor Lu Mingyuan, he had a natural 9th grade macaque destiny. In the strict hierarchy of the cultivation world, such talent was destined to never rise. Second bow to the parents. Following the officiant's chant, Lu Chen mechanically kowtowed. He vividly remembered the rainy night 3 days ago when the 7th rank Wen family broke their engagement, replacing the legitimate daughter Wen Wan with the concubine's daughter Wen Ning. The mistress of the mansion actually nodded in agreement to the Wen family's exchange. The original owner was humiliated and furious, leading to a chi deviation during cultivation, which gave him the opportunity to take over the body. Thinking of this, Lu Chen's gaze dimmed slightly. In this world of solidified class and strict hierarchy where everything was determined by destiny, he felt that his future in this life was utterly dark. Tired. Just lie flat. Although Lu Chen was a concubine son with no status in the governor's mansion, at least he didn't have to worry about food and drink. This life of not being a beast of burden was actually quite good. What's more, in this life, he even got married. No mortgage, no car loan, no need to worry about an expensive bride price, and his wife was a virgin. This life was simply the dream life he had longed for in his previous life. Thinking this, Lu Chen's mood instantly lifted and a smile appeared on his face. Spousal bow. Thump, thump, thump. Just as Lu Chen and Wen Ning were completing the spousal bow, a group of people suddenly walked in from outside the gate. The leader was a middle-aged man in fine clothes with a plump face and an aura of authority. In an instant, like a tiger among sheep, a powerful pressure surged forth, and the small courtyard fell into dead silence. Wherever they passed, the crowd automatically made way. As the group drew closer, the pressure grew stronger and more terrifying. Lu Chen felt as if he had fallen into an ice cellar, and his breathing became difficult. This is Gao Hong, the messenger under Lu Mingyuan. What is he here for? This pressure is at least of the 6th grade, meaning his innate destiny is at least 6th grade. I wonder what his innate destiny is. Despite the difficulty breathing, Lu Chen still retrieved information about the newcomer from his memory. At the same time, he felt curious about Gao Hong's innate destiny. In this world, innate destiny determines a person's ceiling. The better the innate destiny, the higher the grade, the better the aptitude, the faster the cultivation speed, and naturally the higher the ceiling. And since the pressure Gao Hong casually emitted was 6th grade, one could infer that his innate destiny was at least 6th grade. Unfortunately, a person's innate destiny is hidden in their life palace, invisible to others. Only the priests in charge of the clan's destiny altar or cultivators who practice specialized techniques can see it. Just as Lu Chen was lost in thought, Gao Hong approached. As his footsteps stopped, the pressure instantly vanished without a trace. Gao Hong surveyed the crowd calmly, then clasped his hands and said, "Gao Hong, messenger under the governor, pays respects to Lady Su, the 6th young master, and the 6th young madam." "Greetings, Messenger Gao." Seeing him bow, Lu Chen, Lady Su, and Wen Ning quickly returned the gesture. There was no help for it. The previous Dakang Emperor Murongda was born with the Golden Crow destiny, surpassing 1st grade, a natural emperor's fate. Upon ascending the throne, he was ambitious, intending to level all the clans and sects of the world, suppress everything, and sweep the 4 directions. In the end, he was besieged by the clans and sects allied with foreign enemies like the demon tribes and barbarians. Emperor Murongda died in battle, the Dakang dynasty's fate collapsed, and the kingdom fell into an era of warlords. And Mingzhou governor Lu Mingyuan was one of those warlords, the local emperor of Mingzhou. His orders were equivalent to imperial edicts in Mingzhou. Messengers like Gao Hong were equivalent to imperial envoys. Such people, not to mention a concubine son like Lu Chun, even legitimate sons like Lu Xingyun and Lu Xinghe had to show them deference. Seeing Lu Chun and the others return the greeting, Gao Hong showed a slight smile, and then spoke by the governor's command. The sixth young master Lu Chun is respectful and humble, gentle in nature, filial and courteous, law-abiding. Lu Chun, respectful and humble, gentle nature, filial, law-abiding. These words seemed like praise, but to him, they carried a strong sense of irony. According to custom, I specially bestow upon Lady Su, the sixth young master, and the sixth young madam, 1 cup of fourth grade fortune each. Hearing this, Lu Chen suddenly looked up, his eyes shining with joy as he gazed at Gao Hong. Oh! When Ning let out a pleasant exclamation, her voice full of surprise and excitement. Above Lady Zu's body trembled, her face almost blooming with smiles, tears welling up. Even the attendants behind Gao Hong were the same. In this world, innate destiny is formed at birth and extremely difficult to improve. But fortune is the most important and best resource for changing one's fate. Destiny and fortune, Ming and Yun, complement each other, both indispensable. As the saying goes, when fortune comes, heaven and earth work together. When fortune departs, even heroes are not free. Inborn depends on destiny, acquired depends on fortune. If fortune is strong enough, even an ordinary person can defy fate and soar to the heavens. Conversely, if one has destiny but no fortune, they will encounter many setbacks, face obstacles everywhere, and be unrecognized talent. When fortune is bad, one may die before achieving success. That's the importance of fortune. Lu Chun, as an overlooked concubine son in the governor's mansion, had never received any fortune bestowal since childhood. This was his first time receiving fortune, and it was fourth grade fortune at that. How could he not be excited? Just as Lu Chun was observing Gao Hong flicked his sleeve, and 3 jade vessels resembling cups appeared beside him. These were the so-called fortune cups. Boom. As Lu Chen's gaze fell on the cup, the fortune within transformed into a green snake that shot into his forehead. Instantly his mind entered a mysterious space. Life Palace. This is the secret place that everyone in this world is born with, and also the birthplace of innate destiny. The Palace of Destiny. Lu Chun had never seen a space like this before. Seemingly only 3 inches in scope, yet within it encompassed the heavens, appearing boundless and infinite. As the azure serpent of fortune surged in, the dormant monkey destiny image in the palace leaped up, as if spotting an exquisite delicacy. The monkey tumbled through the air several times, about to seize the serpent. At that moment, a bronze book suddenly materialized. Time and space froze, all things returned to nothingness, the world devoid of sound and color, thought and self. It was as if time and fate had vanished. Damn it. Damn. Where's my monkey? Where's my azure serpent of fortune? Where did that adorable monkey destiny image of mine go? What is this thing? After an unknown span, Lu Chen finally awoke from that chaotic, dazed state, horrified to find his innate destiny image gone. In the Palace of Destiny, aside from a bronze book, there was nothing else. How could this be? He knew that the palace could contain nothing but the destiny image itself. But now, Lu Chen stared at the suddenly appearing bronze book, his face a mix of shock and bewilderment. Bang! At that moment, the bronze book burst forth with eternal radiance, and mysterious, ancient, profound Tao tones resounded through the Palace of Destiny. 2 complex, enigmatic, indescribable golden characters rose on the ancient book's cover. The Book of Destiny. The instant he saw those mysterious characters, even though he had never encountered them before and received no explanation, Lu Chen intuitively grasped their meaning. Simultaneously, the bronze book automatically flipped to its first page. Instantly, the figure of a monkey appeared in Lu Chen's vision. The monkey was imprinted on the first page like a vivid cartoon avatar. Countless pieces of information surged into Lu Chen's mind. Strange symbols filled his vision, ultimately forming Book of Destiny owner Lu Chen, innate destiny image 1, spirit monkey, grade 905W, unit vessel destiny image 2, none can be formed by consuming 1 vessels of grade 7 fortune. Cultivation grade 9 destiny, dust, bronze, black, iron, bronze, silver, gold, purple, gold. Cultivation art, white ape, moon worship art. Grade 5 initial insight proficiency levels, initial insight, beginner proficient mastery, great mastery perfection techniques, basic sword art, grade 9 proficient white ape moon chase, sword grade 7 beginner arm spanning, heaven turning hand, grade 8 proficient spirit monkey leaping art, grade 9 proficient skills none. Your survival ability is concerning you, not a single skill has reached a grade. Talent 1 destiny image agility 10, speed 10. Talent 2 fortune control can gather, govern, and suppress all fortune of the owner. Anyone spying on the owner's fortune will suffer backlash. Talent 3 fate control can consume fortune to turn impossibilities into possibilities, can strengthen and deduce all skills, cultivation arts, talents, etc., thereby defying fate and ultimately grasping destiny. Talent 3 eye of fate can perceive others' fortune An innate destiny images fortune grade, 4-1 vessel grade 9-18 annual manner, grant note conversion between fortune grades, is 101i. 1 vessel of grade 8 fortune, 10 vessels of grade 9 fortune. Chen stared at the information in his vision stunned. It's you. It's you. That meteor was definitely you, right? At that moment he finally found the culprit who had caused his transmigration. The Book of Destiny. Faced with Chen's agitated questioning, and cursing, the bronze book remained as steady as an old dog, offering no response. After a long while, Chen's hopeful heart finally died. He couldn't go back. Letting out a sigh, he resignedly turned his gaze to the Book of Destiny. He pondered for a moment, then silently commanded, "Convert all my grade 4 fortune into grade 9 fortune. Fortune 100018. Instantly the Book of Destiny's information changed. Upgrade my innate destiny image once. The moment Chen made the silent command, countless pieces of information surged forth. Option 1, heart connecting. Ape communicates with the spirit of all things, hears the voices of all beings, perceives their transformations, traverses all realms, comes and goes without a trace, roams the psychic seas of the multiverse. Option 2, ancient star. Ape commands the stars, roams the galaxy, shifts constellations, moves mountains and fills seas, shakes the sun and moon. Option 3, battle god. Monkey, invincible in combat, unparalleled in battle, intent perceptive to the finest details, fights heaven and earth with unyielding will and indestructible spirit. Option 4, mighty ancient. Ape possesses boundless strength, brings endless destruction, overturns mountains and seas, shatters the 9 heavens. Option 999, heavenly flame. Divine. Ape devours all fires, condenses the origin of heavenly flames, burns mountains and boils seas, controls all fires. Please choose one as the path for your innate destiny image's ascension. Chen. He stared at the 999 choices, utterly bewildered. Was this how one upgraded an innate destiny image? No, absolutely not. Though he had never seen anyone else upgrade their own innate destiny image, he dared to guarantee that no one else's process was like. Chen gazed blankly at the multitude of choices, falling into a state of decision paralysis. Unfortunately, he didn't see the 4 most famous monkeys from his past lives' memories among these options. Otherwise, he would have definitely chosen Monkey King as his. Choose one. After some deliberation, Chen finally selected the first ascension path. The moment he confirmed, he immediately felt a mysterious wave surge from the Book of Destiny. A supreme, omnipotent energy flooded into his innate destiny image and mind. Instantly, Chen entered a state of being remade. A state of cosmic creation and maternal gestation. In the small courtyard, Chen opened his eyes. He found that Gao Hong and his group hadn't left yet, and even the fortune vessels hadn't been put away. Clearly not much time had passed since he entered the Palace of Destiny. Yet he felt as though months had gone by inside. This temporal disorientation amazed him. Just then Chen's ears twitched involuntarily, and his face twitched a few times. The 6th young master is awake. I wonder what his innate destiny image, what grade has it reached? Alas, this 6th young master is truly pitiable. No father's love, a powerless mother, no backing. At 18, the Lord hasn't even held his comingafage ceremony. If not for this marriage swap with the Wen family alarming, the Lord had probably have forgotten he had such a son. If not for the Wen family swap, the Lord might not even know about the 6th young master's wedding. Maybe by the time the 6th young master has grandchildren, the Lord still wouldn't notice. A wallflower, truly devoid of presence. Chen. He glanced subtly at Gao Hong, his eyelids twitching. He had succeeded. His innate destiny image had truly changed. The new talent he gained from his destiny image could indeed hear others' thoughts. He never imagined that Gao Hong's inner world was like this. With that thought, Chen turned his gaze to the Book of Destiny's information. Innate destiny image 1, heart connecting. Ape, grade 805W. Talent, mind reading. Fortune, grade 950018. Not bad, truly not bad. I never expected that marrying Chen, the so-called waste in this life, would grant me a sip of 4th grade fortune. With this resource, I can finally cultivate the Thunder Phoenix creation scripture I obtained from an ancient tomb in my past life. As long as I have enough fortune, I can use the Thunder Phoenix creation scripture to defy fate, condense the Thunder Phoenix innate destiny phase, wield creation, and rule the world as a mother. Zhao Huaishuan, you treacherous man, vile man, despicable scum. In my past life, my fortune was extraordinary. After marrying Zhao Huaishuan, I discovered an ancient tomb of the Middle Ancient Dafeng Imperial Court. Yet blinded by love, I offered all the treasures and resources of that tomb to that heartless wretch, Zhao Huaishuan. Relying on the resources and techniques from that tomb, Zhao Huaishuan defied fate, elevating his Zhao family from a tiny 9th grade clan to a top 3rd grade noble house. Eventually, he annihilated the Lu clan, dominated Mingzhou, Yenzhou, and Haizhou, and became a regional overlord. Zhao Huaishuan, after rising through my opportunities, you turned your back on me. Not only did you fill your harem, but you also sought to kill me by favoring a concubine over your wife. Fortunately, I was prepared. I secretly poisoned Zhao Huaishuan, destroying his innate destiny phase, and finally used the killing move from the Thunder Phoenix creation scripture to perish together with that wretched man. In this life, I will live for myself. Men are merely tools for reproduction. If they dare to betray me, I will keep the child and discard the father. In this life, my elder sister Wenwan should have also been reborn. She insisted on swapping marriages with me and marrying Zhao Huaishuan. I wonder, without my great fortune, can that dog Zhao Huaishuan still rise this time? Ha ha ha. Lu Chen. He turned around in disbelief, looking at the girl beside him clad in red wedding robes and wearing a red veil. Past life. Rebirth. Reproduction tool. Keep the child and discard the father. Marriage swap. The sheer volume of information left Lu Chen utterly bewildered. He had a question stuck in his throat, unsure whether to voice it. He never imagined such a melodramatic plot would unfold before him. If not for Lu Chen choosing the celestial heart ape as his destiny phase evolution path, and awakening the talent of mind reading, he would never have known that his newlywed wife harbored such a secret. Before Lu Chen could recover from Wen Ning's thoughts, he heard the voice of this Buddhist mother from behind. My innate destiny phase has finally reached 7th grade. I am one step closer to my lord. Once I cultivate to the 7th grade realm, I wonder if my lord will spare me a glance. Pity that Chainer is useless. He inherited none of my lord's powerful innate destiny phase. If only Chainer were more ambitious, perhaps as his mother, I wouldn't be completely ignored by my lord. My lord, it's been years since you last saw me. Have you utterly forgotten, Lu Chen? Well, he confirmed that this Buddhist mother was undoubtedly a hopeless romantic. Moreover, a lovesick one pining in vain. He rolled his eyes. With a mother and a wife like this, his days ahead would be interesting indeed. Nightfall. Lu Chen, his face sore from forced smiles, finally breathed a deep sigh of relief after seeing off all the guests. With his mind-reading ability, he had truly witnessed the meaning of saying one thing while thinking another. Some cursed him inwardly, some mocked him, some pitied him, and some laughed at him behind his back. Even the gift-bearers sent by his half-siblings laughed at him in their hearts. Gazing at the desolate courtyard, Lu Chen suddenly realized that in his 18 years the original owner had not a single true friend. Withdrawn, self-loathing, timid, sensitive. Recalling the original owner's memories, Lu Chen saw his entire life. He was taciturn, speaking fewer than 10 words on most days. He was diligent and disciplined, training almost every day, rain or shine. But sadly, his innate destiny phase was only 9th grade, with its limits set in stone. Without resources, wisdom, opportunities, or fortune, his efforts alone could never break the shackles of his fate. He was self-loathing and sensitive, afraid of others gossiping about him, afraid of hearing bad words, afraid of interacting with people. The original owner had never done a single bad deed in his life. He never visited brothels, never rode wildly through the streets, never stole or pilfered. The most outrageous thing he ever did was at 15 going out and rescuing the injured Wenwan. From then on, the two began secretly meeting often. Wenwan gradually became the only light in the original owner's life. To marry Wenwan, he mustered the courage for the first time to beg the matriarch, Chen, kneeling for most of the day outside her gate. Eventually, Chen agreed to send a proposal to the Wen family. Soon the engagement was settled. The original owner was so moved that tears flowed. He began to fill with hope and anticipation for the future. But unexpectedly, 3 days before the wedding, news of the marriage swap arrived. Rage, resentment, despair, darkness. These emotions became the final colors in the original owner's heart. Taking a deep breath to suppress the turmoil within, Lu Chen slowly walked toward the bridal chamber. Tonight, he had a battle to fight. Facing the reborn Wen Ning, he had to tread carefully. This newlywed wife of his was undoubtedly a ruthless character. Lu Chen gently pushed open the door to the bridal chamber. Inside, red candles flickered, and Wen Ning in her red wedding dress sat quietly by the bed. He took a deep breath, activating the Talon Eye of Fate granted by the Book of Destiny. Instantly, Lu Chen saw a mysterious space emerge above Wen Ning's. This mysterious space existed between reality and illusion, as if situated in a transcendent realm. Within that space, a small red bird the size of a sparrow, its innate destiny phase, clutched a green snake, breathing and exhaling continuously. Mysterious, complex patterns imbued with the power of creation were born one after another. Threads of thunderfire life essence gathered, shimmering like stardust with a purple-gold radiance. Above the red bird's destiny phase, a mass of 9th grade red fortune rolled like a crimson cloud. Seeing this, Lu Chen's expression turned peculiar. Didn't Wen Ning claim her fortune was overwhelming in her past life? Wasn't she a reborn grandmaster? Why was what he saw and heard so different? In his eyes, Wen Ning was merely at the 9th grade destiny dust realm. Yet her breathing technique was remarkably powerful. Even with casual breaths, the life essence she produced was of purple gold quality. Black iron, bronze, silver, gold, purple gold. Purple gold quality life essence was nearly the limit for most humans. Only some powerful innate destiny phase holders could condense unique life essence, even with ordinary breathing techniques. For instance, the previous emperor of Dakong Morong, whose innate golden crow destiny phase condensed life essence with the property of incinerating all things and repelling all evils. Even more terrifying, every time Morong struck, it was accompanied by the phenomenon of a great sun hanging in the sky, illuminating all directions. This was the terror of those far-surpassing first-grade innate destiny phase holders. And Wen Ning was clearly not such an existence. Her innate destiny phase was almost the same as Lu Chen's, merely 9th grade. Thinking about it made sense. If Wen Ning's innate destiny phase were outstanding, the Wen clan would have treasured her and never agreed to marry her off to him. Moreover, her fortune was ordinary. Lu Chun guessed that perhaps Wen Ning truly had overwhelming fortune in her past life, but it had all been consumed by then. Seeing this, he suddenly smiled. Wen Ning's situation was almost a mirror of his own. With the Book of Destiny, he would surely surpass her. What's wrong with him? Why isn't he moving? He's dawdling. Could it be he looks down on me? Hawk. If it weren't for my weak strength now and the arranged marriage by my parents and that I dare not offend the military governor, I wouldn't want to marry you either. No, I don't even want to marry anyone. It's a pity that the oppression of women in this world is too heavy. When will we women ever stand up? You dog of a man, won't you come over quickly? It's just the wedding night. Oh, I've been through it before. They'll treat it like being bitten by a dog. Tomorrow I have to serve tea to the military governor and his wife. If they see him still a virgin and the governor blames me, I can't bear the consequences. Maybe even the Wen clan will be implicated. I don't care if the Wen clan is destroyed, but I'm afraid it will involve my mother and younger brother. Lu Chun, this waste, doesn't realize your greatest value now is to continue the Lu family's bloodline. If you can't even do that, your father will likely be completely abandoned tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you're abandoned, but I still want to struggle and stir up trouble. I need fortune, a great deal of fortune. So annoying, so annoying. It's so hard for me. Lu Chun. He rubbed his ears, feeling the clamor intensely. He had already prepared to sleep on the floor or in a separate room. Unexpectedly, Wen Ning didn't mind at all. This woman was somewhat abnormal. She must have been driven nearly mad in her past life. Of course, the main reason was that Wen Ning currently dared not offend military governor Lu Mingyuan. Originally, the Wen clan's substitution of the bride was already a challenge to the military governor's mansion's face. If not for the mistress Chen's consent and Lu Chen's utter lack of presence in the mansion, the Wen clan would likely have been held accountable. Under these circumstances, if Lu Mingyuan discovered that Wen Ning looked down on Lu Chun and refused to bear children, for the Lu family the consequences. Even if Lu Chun was not favored, he was still Lu Mingyuan's son. Although this world was a transcendent one, destiny pervaded all its rules, order, and everything. Innate fate determined one's lot, acquired fortune relied on effort. In this world, whoever mastered acquired great fortune could dominate the life, death, and destiny of countless beings. And in most nations, fortune was controlled by patriarchal power. This was a society with strict hierarchies where male authority surpassed female authority. Thus, facing a regional hegemon like the military governor's mansion, even a reincarnated woman like Wen Ning dared not act recklessly. Lu Chun twitched the corner of his mouth. In such a world, not to mention Wen Ning, even he was fearful and dared not act rashly. In such a world, once he was imprisoned in the military governor's mansion, even with a treasure like the Book of Fate, he could not resist. Because once confined, he could not acquire fortune or resources. Without fortune, the various abilities granted by the Book of Fate would be useless. When fortune favored, all forces aligned. When luck waned, even heroes lost freedom. No matter how outstanding one's innate fate or talent, if denied the resources and time to grow, one could only lament one's ill fortune. Therefore, if Lu Chun wanted to defy fate, vie for destiny, and acquire fortune, he had to leave the military governor's mansion. Fortune primarily originated from the gathering and creation of living beings. The more beings, the more united their hearts, and the higher the value they created, the more fortune would accumulate. To acquire fortune, Lu Chun needed territory, population, resources, and loyalty. And to obtain these, he could not offend Lu Mingyuan. People had their fortune, lands had theirs, clans had theirs. The more outstanding and prosperous the Lu clan's members, the stronger the clan's fortune. According to the military governor's mansion's custom, illegitimate sons like him and other mediocre Lu clan members, once married and established, had the chance to leave the mansion for posts elsewhere or to spread the family branches. Lu Chen looked forward to this immensely. To him, the current military governor's mansion was a cage. Realizing this, he knew his wedding night would be spent in meditation. He could not let Lu Mingyuan think he was even incapable of continuing the bloodline. If he lacked even that ability, he would likely be deemed worthless in Lu Mingyuan's eyes. Huff! Just as Lu Chun resolved to approach Wen Ning, she suddenly reached out and lifted her red veil. Are you sick? Not even eager on the wedding night. Dawdling, let me see what you're doing. Lu Chun heard the grumbling inner voice in his ears. Their eyes met, and the atmosphere instantly froze. Before Lu Chen could react, another clamorous voice came from within his heart. Hey, 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 heavens, this waste is actually quite handsome. He's even more handsome than Zhao Huaishuan. Is Wenwan crazy? She actually gave up someone like this for that heartless scumbag, Zhao Huaishuan. Is she blind? Wait, why didn't I see him in my past life? Oh, I remember now. In my past life, on the night when Wan married him, a heavenly serpent cult expert suddenly attacked the mansion, and this handsome waste died on them. So when Wan became a widow. Later the mansion was destroyed by Zhao Huaishuan, and that bitch when Wan hooked up with him, always opposing me. It infuriates me. That pair of scumbags when Wan and Zhao Huaishuan, I cursed them to die horribly. Lu Chen. The original host's fate was truly tragic. Indeed, he hadn't expected that the original host, after marrying when Wan in his past life, died on the wedding night. After his death, when Wan even cuckolded him. Tisk tisk, truly inhumane. Wait. Suddenly Lu Chen's eyes widened as he looked at Wen Ning. The wedding night. The heavenly serpent cult's attack. Damn, that means tonight. Suddenly Lu Chen realized. His face turned somewhat grim. Boom, boom, boom. Just then a series of loud explosions suddenly echoed, followed by a violent tremor. Screams followed one after another. Seeing this, Lu Chen's expression grew solemn. He knew the heavenly serpent cult had arrived, and it was too late to evade. Without time to think further, he turned his gaze to the Book of Fate. He needed to make a last-minute effort to enhance his strength. He looked at his primary breathing technique, the White Ape Moon Worship Method. But when he saw its grade, he immediately looked away. This breathing technique was 5th grade. To enhance it, he needed 5th grade fortune. He only had over 50,000 units of 9th grade fortune, which converted to a mere 5 units of 5th grade fortune. Such a small amount would likely have little effect on a 5th grade technique. He then shifted his gaze to the basic sword art. Although this art was 9th grade, it encompassed the foundation of all sword techniques in this world. Through the original host's years of persistent cultivation, this art had already reached the proficiency level. Lu Chen had now inherited it all. Of course, Lu Chen had only inherited the memories and hadn't yet experienced it firsthand. But now he had no time to practice. Enhance the basic sword art. Instantly as Lu Chen willed it. 9th grade fortune 800 basic sword art reaches mastery. 9th grade fortune 1600 basic sword art reaches great completion. 9th grade fortune 3200 basic sword art reaches perfection. Your basic sword art is now perfect. Your sword talent 20, your sword power amplification 20. You gain insights by analogy, and your 7th grade sword art White Ape Moon Chasing Sword reaches the proficiency realm. Your basic sword art is perfect. Your life essence receives a blessing, its quality improves, and your life essence now possesses a trace of sword Dao characteristics. At this moment, Lu Chen's mind was flooded with countless insights, experiences, and realizations about swordsmanship. It felt as if he had cultivated for countless years in a timeless void. These experiences and knowledge seemed to merge into his soul, body, and very being. The 15 sword techniques: thrusting, stabbing, sweeping, chopping, blocking, turning, lifting, breaking, pressing, intercepting, severing, striking, and drawing, seemed to merge into Lu Chen's instinct, simultaneously integrating into his swordsmanship. At the same time, the moves of the White Ape Chasing the Moon sword evolved in his heart, transitioning from clumsy to proficient. Without wasting any time, Lu Chen directly advanced to the next martial art. Grade 9 Fortune 800. Grade 9 Fortune 1600. Grade 9 Fortune 3200. Your Ling Ho Tung Nuo Gong has reached perfection, granting you 20 agility and 20 speed. Your life essence has been enhanced, improving its quality, and has gained a hint of ethereal characteristics. You have also gained insights into your Grade 8 martial art Tong by Fan Tian Shou, achieving mastery. You have gained insights into the breathing technique White Ape Bidding Moon Method. Your life essence quality has undergone a transformation, advancing from bronze to silver. Instantly, a surge of information and experience flooded in, and Lu Chen's innate fate seemed to resonate with the heavens, continuously absorbing streams of ethereal, vibrant energy. As this energy was absorbed, his life essence quickly evolved from bronze to silver. Simultaneously, his life essence exhibited a hint of ethereality, becoming more vibrant. Lu Chen felt this change and couldn't help but marvel. The perfection of both basic swordsmanship and Ling Ho Tung Nuo Gong revealed a secret of this world. Once he perfected a certain technique, he gained an opportunity to resonate with the heavens. With this resonance, he could receive a baptism from the heavens, causing his life essence to undergo transformation, thereby acquiring various miraculous traits. Lu Chen was uncertain whether this was a privilege granted to him by the Fate Book, or if everyone in this world possessed such a treatment. If he were the only one, it would certainly. Of course, for an ordinary person, achieving perfection in a martial art is extremely difficult. Most would never reach perfection in a grade 9 technique in their life. However, armed with the Fate Book, as long as he had enough fortune, Lu Chen could perfect any technique in a short time. This was an exceedingly terrifying prospect. He turned his gaze to the Fate Book, which had already undergone significant changes. Fate Book Owner Lu Chen. Fate Manifestation 1 Heavenly Heart Ape Grade 8.0 Unit Cups. Fate Manifestation 2 None can consume 1.0 cups of Grade 7 Fortune to condense. Cultivation Grade 9 Fate Dust Silver Black Iron Bronze Silver Gold Purple Gold. Techniques White Ape Bidding Moon Method Grade 5 Preliminary Understanding Proficiency Level Preliminary Understanding Entry Proficiency Mastery Grade Accomplishment Perfection Basic Swordsmanship Grade 9 Perfection Traits Swordsmanship Talent 20 Swordsmanship Attack Power 20 White Ape Chasing the Moon Sword Grade 7 Proficient Tong by Fantian Show Grade 8 Mastered Ling Ho Tung Nua Gong Grade 9 Perfection Traits Agility 20 Speed 20 Skills None. Your survival ability is concerning as you lack any skill of note. Fate Manifestation Talent 1 Agility 50 E Speed 50 A Perception 10 Fate Manifestation Talent 2 Mind Reading. Fate Book Talent 1 Fate Control can gather, control, suppress, and utilize all the owner's fortune, anyone attempting to pry into the owner's fortune. Fate Book Talent 2 Fate Mastery can consume fortune to turn the impossible into possible, can enhance and deduce all skills, techniques, talents, etc., thereby defying fate and ultimately mastering destiny. Fate Book Talent 3 Eye of Destiny can perceive others' fortunes and innate fate. Fortune Grade 9 38818. Note the conversion value between each grade of fortune is 10, meaning 1 cup of Grade 8 fortune equals 10 cups of Grade 9 fortune. Lu Chen gazed at the transformed information in the Fate Book, secretly thrilled. 1 cup of Grade 4 fortune is nothing to the Governor Lu Mingyuan. It is merely a trinket he uses for casual gifting. Yet this cup of Grade 4 fortune significantly enhanced both his strength and innate fate. This made Lu Chen sigh, whether in his past or present life the joys and sorrows between people were always disconnected. In his past life, the money that the rich squandered casually could alter the fate of countless ordinary people. In this life, even a cup of fortune casually gifted by Lu Mingyuan could likewise change his fate. This illustrates the sorrow and helplessness of the weak. Since this life has granted Lu Chen such a treasure as the Fate Book, he must become a strong individual. He aims to become a master of fate rather than a weakling begging for the mercy of the strong. Suddenly, as Lu Chen was about to use his fortune to strengthen himself, countless sounds akin to venomous snakes hissing came from outside the door. This sound emerged from the darkness, eerie and disgusting, sending chills down one's spine. Following that, a series of sharp, unpleasant, strange laughter erupted outside the bridal chamber. To think they are in the bridal chamber, brothers, we are in for a treat tonight. Ha, what brother you said is true. Let's kill the groom first, and we 3 brothers will take his place in the bridal chamber. You 2 brothers wait outside and form a line. Let me, the little brother, go kill the groom first. Whoosh. No sooner had the words been spoken than a shadow shot in from outside the bridal chamber. The intruder moved with incredible speed, twisting their body through the air as if they had no bones, resembling a short, thick python. Haha, groom, prepare to die. As soon as the person entered, they lunged directly at Lu Chen, a chilling, killing intent surging forth, their hands flailing as if they had transformed into 2 giant snakes emerging from their lair to strangle their prey. Hiss! A piercing sound erupted from the air, shaking one's mind, and a fearsome, nauseating aura suddenly spread through the atmosphere. Wherever the shadow passed, the light seemed to dim. In the blink of an eye, the shadow had closed in on Lu Chen, their hands resembling venomous snakes ready to engulf him. Ha, you're going to die. Seeing Lu Chen standing motionless, seemingly stunned into inaction, the shadow wore an evil grin. But at that moment, Lu Chen suddenly lifted his head to look at him. Instantly, the smile on the shadow's face froze. For almost the moment Lu Chen raised his head, he had already extended 2 fingers, and a silver-white sword aura erupted from his fingertips. The sword aura sliced through the darkness like a waning moon, cold, beautiful, yet bone-chilling. What terrified the shadow further was the incredible speed of the sword aura. The moonlight cascaded, time flew. Upon seeing the sword aura, the shadow immediately sensed that his brow had been pierced. A terrifying chill began to invade his nerves. He knew that this time he was doomed. Bang! Just as the thought of defeat crossed his mind, he saw a red shadow suddenly flash beside Lu Chen, and then he felt a terrifying force emanating from his chest. Within the bridal chamber, a deathly silence reigned. Lu Chen and Wen Ning stood side by side, both seeing shock and bewilderment in each other's eyes. Lu Chen studied the young woman who had suddenly materialized beside him, a peculiar expression on his face. Her features were delicate and refined, exuding an air of elegance and grace that was anything but the meekness of a neglected concubine's daughter. Such a woman was beyond his wildest dreams in his past life. Of course, if he couldn't hear her thoughts, her image in his heart would be far more perfect. What happened? Did that waste Lu Chen just make a move? Isn't he supposed to be useless? How is his reaction speed and striking power so fast? And that sword chi he unleashed, its power and speed are terrifying. So fast. His reflexes and attack speed are almost on par with mine. How is that possible? In my past life, I trained for decades and mastered most martial techniques and spells. My Thunderfire Obliteration Hand and Thundercloud Step are at their peak. How can he compare to me? I don't believe it. This is a waste. Damn it all liars. Compared to him, my decades in the past life were wasted. No. In the past life, Lu Chen died on the wedding night. Something's off. Could there be an unbeatable expert outside? Lu Chen rolled his eyes and subtly edged away. Wen Ning was speechless. What does he mean? What does he mean by that look? Is he disgusted by me? I just helped him, and he's disgusted by me. Bastard ingrate. As Lu Chen endured the mental barrage, two enraged roars erupted from outside. Third brother. How are you? Ah, don't die. Damn it, you killed our brother. You're dead. Die. With a crash, two black figures smashed through the wall. Unseen, a crimson cloud drifted above Lu Chen's head and vanished into his life palace. You have slain Yu Laosan, a 9th rank expert of the Heavenly Serpent sect. Your fortune-seizing talent activates. You seize his Chi Fortune. 9th rank, Chi Fortune, 800. Chi Fortune 9th rank, 39318. Lu Chen was stunned by the sudden increase of 809th rank Chi Fortune in his destiny. In this world, when a being dies, their Chi Fortune scatters and returns to heaven and earth. But now what was he witnessing? He was actually seizing Chi Fortune from the dead, as if stealing food from the heavens themselves. Lu Chen looked up in fear, dreading a thunderbolt from the sky. Fortunately, the heavens remained calm, and nothing happened. Perhaps the heavens hadn't noticed his theft, or they deemed his spoils too insignificant. Lu Chen breathed a deep sigh of relief and turned his gaze back to the room. What he saw almost made him laugh in anger. Two black-clad men stood in the bridal chamber, their eyes fixed on Wen Ning like starving toads. Beautiful, such a beauty. A night with her would be worth a lifetime. Third brother, forgive us. We'll avenge you after we've enjoyed ourselves. He activated his Eye of Fate to examine their life palaces and cultivation levels. Just then Wen Ning struck. He activated his Eye of Fate to examine their life palaces and cultivation levels. Just then Wen Ning struck. Disgusting. You seek death. Sparks of electricity gathered beneath Wen Ning's feet, coalescing into thunderclouds. A red shadow flickered, leaving afterimages. In a flash, Wen Ning appeared before the two men. Expressionless, she raised her jade-white palms, unleashing a torrent of purple-gold life essence. Lightning and fire intertwined in her grasp. The air roared with thunder. Waves of energy surged, converging into a force of utter annihilation. In that moment, she was a goddess of thunder and flame. Yu Laoda and Yu Lauer snapped out of their lustful trance, their faces twisting from greed to sheer terror. Neither had expected the serene, graceful girl to transform into a primal beast of destruction. Though Wen Ning's cultivation was only at the 9th rank, the power and true intent she commanded defied their understanding. This was no power of a 9th rank cultivation. More terrifying was her speed. Yu Laoda and Yu Lauer felt death's cold breath upon them with no time to evade. In desperation, Yu Laoda erupted with crimson life radiance, forming a protective shield before him. 3 fiery serpents slithered across the barrier, spewing flames. Protective life radiance. 8th rank life radiance realm. Die. Wen Ning raised an eyebrow, but remained unfazed. With casual grace, her hand struck the barrier. An 8th rank expert. No wonder Lu Chen died on his wedding night in the past life. His speed and reflexes match mine, but his attack power can't compare. I wonder how that bitch Wen Wan survived back then. Did she trade her body? Too bad this time you've met me. My Thunderfire Obliteration Hand is a precursor to the supreme technique, creation mending art. An ordinary 8th rank Heavenly Serpent sect expert is nothing to me. Lu Chen was speechless. This damn woman was mocking him in her mind again. He had already seen the life palaces and cultivation of Yu Laoda and Yu Lauer. Yu Laoda's innate fate was an 8th rank red band snake. Yu Lauer's was a 9th rank bamboo viper. Lu Chen had forgotten to check Yu Laosan's fate, but he guessed it was also a serpent. The Heavenly Serpent sect only recruits those with serpent fates. Legend says their supreme art heaven serpent devouring method can seize Chi Fortune and transform one's fate into a celestial serpent. Lost in thought, Lu Chen moved like a nimble monkey, blocking the retreat of Yu Laoda and Yu Lauer. With 2 resounding thuds, agonized screams filled the air. Lu Chen looked up to see the 2 men hurtling backward at terrifying speed. He dodged and extended his fingers, conjuring sword chi. To Wen Ning's astonishment, he shot 2 streaks of chi into the men's foreheads with uncanny speed. The screams ceased instantly. 2 heavy thuds followed. 2 clouds of Chi Fortune descended, and Lu Chen smiled. 9th rank Chi Fortune 3,500. 9th rank Chi Fortune 1,100. He had successfully stolen the kills. Only by personally slaying a being could he plunder their Chi Fortune. Wen Ning was left speechless. Penniless wretch. Lu Chen silently cursed as he observed the fortune of Elder Yu and Second Yu. Of course, most people in this world were indeed paupers. The majority of ordinary people didn't even possess innate destinies of the 9th grade. They were merely of the mortal grade. Commoners could neither perceive fortune nor gather it. The fortune they generated was collected by the priests of the world's sects and officialdom through the construction of fortune altars. The grand affairs of a nation lie in sacrifice and warfare. Sacrifice was the most vital ritual in this world. Noble families, sects, and authorities all gathered fortune through offerings to heaven and earth and various ceremonial rites, manipulating it via fortune altars. Through fortune altars, fortune could be forged into fortune coins and fortune silver. These served as the universal currency of this realm. Fortune coins were currency made from common fortune, often used by ordinary people for trade or cultivation. One measure of mortal grade fortune could produce 100 fortune coins. One measure of 9th grade fortune could yield 100 9th grade fortune silver. One measure of 9th grade fortune equaled 10 measures of mortal grade fortune, or 1,000 fortune coins. Thus, one ingot of 9th grade fortune silver was worth 10 fortune coins. To ascend from a mortal grade innate destiny to the 9th grade required at least 10,000 measures of mortal grade fortune, equivalent to 1 million fortune coins. An average ordinary family in this world earned about 1,000 fortune coins annually. That meant a common household striving to defy fate and elevate a member to the 9th grade would need to work for at least 1,000 years without eating or drinking. Hiss. Calculating this, Chen couldn't help but draw a sharp breath. In this world, it was nearly impossible for ordinary people to change their destiny through hard work alone. To overturn fate, commoners had to rely on luck. If fortune favored them, a descendant might be born with a powerful innate destiny, thereby altering their class and status. With this thought, Chen no longer felt much resentment over the original owner's paltry annual reward of one measure of 9th grade fortune. One measure of 9th grade fortune was equivalent to 100 ingots of fortune silver. This treatment was far superior to that of ordinary people. By this logic, he realized that the three brothers were not poor at all. They were quite wealthy. Fortunately, all these riches were now his. Chen cast his gaze toward the Book of Fate. Fortune 9th grade 43918 whoosh. As Chen reveled in the joy of his harvest, he failed to notice Wen Ning staring at him, as if he were a lunatic, nor did he realize someone had arrived behind him. Chainer, are you alright? Only when concubine Zh's voice rang out did Chen snap back from his delight. He immediately looked up and was startled. There stood concubine Su, radiating murderous aura, wielding a large blade behind him. The sword and her clothes were drenched in fresh blood. Clearly she had just been slashing people, and quite a few at that. Hiss. Is this Bodhi's mother this fierce? Wasn't she just a maidservant from the military governor's residence? Chen's eyelids twitched. In the original owner's memories, his mother concubine, Su, was always gentle and amiable with everyone. In those memories, concubine Su, like the original owner, rarely stirred up trouble and seldom left the courtyard. To Chen, this mother-aunt pair seemed incredible, but now, he discreetly activated his eye of destiny to glance at concubine Su. Indeed, though concubine Su was the original owner's birth mother in this world, children of concubines could only address the principal wife as mother, calling their own biological mother by the title concubine. With a sweep of the eye of destiny, Chen couldn't help but twitch his cheeks. In his vision within concubine Zh's destiny palace, a towering, ferocious 7th grade mountain-moving giant ape, innate destiny, was devouring heaven and earth, pounding the void as if to overturn the very cosmos. Seeing this innate destiny, Chen knew that concubine Zh's strength was absolutely terrifying. He was certain that her true nature was nothing like the gentle image in the original owner's memories. She was undoubtedly a violent woman. Yet for some unknown reason, concubine Su had managed to suppress her true self for so many years. At the same time, Chen was convinced that the original owner was indeed her biological son. The original owner's innate macaque destiny likely shared a lineage with concubine Zh's. It simply hadn't had the chance to evolve. Bang! Seeing Chen not responding for so long, concubine Su slapped him on the back. Brat, what's wrong? Scared stiff. Instantly, Chen felt a surge of immense force, his body hurtling forward uncontrollably, as if struck by a terrible power. The direction of his flight was precisely toward Wen Ning, and it seemed they would collide face to face. At that moment, Wen Ning reached out and grabbed his clothes. Chen immediately felt another force take hold, spinning his body around several times under its control. With effortless grace, Wen Ning neutralized concubine Zh's strength. She held him aloft like a chicken, as if he weighed nothing. Chen. At that moment, he wished he could die. Oh, this daughter-in-law of mine has such exquisite control and lightning-fast reflexes. Not bad, not bad. This wife is not only stunning in appearance and temperament, but also extraordinary in strength. It seems she was the one who dealt with those 3 heavenly serpent cultists. Without her, that useless Chainer would have been dead by now. This marriage is a brilliant catch. Such a fine girl marrying that waste Chainer is like a flower planted on a heap. Chen. Hearing concubine Zh's inner thoughts, he wanted to die even more. This was definitely his real mother. Let me go. He glared at the oblivion. Being held like this was utterly humiliating. Oh, when Ning looked dazed as if she had just realized she was holding him. Hearing this, she obediently loosened her grip. Instantly, Chen plunged downward. Fortunately, his reflexes and speed were now exceptional. The moment he hit the ground, he pressed his hand against it, and his entire body sprang upright. Hee. Let you steal my kill, I did that on purpose. So fond of saving face. If you ever cross me, I'll carry you around the streets for all to see. Chen. Before he could react, he witnessed a scene that left him speechless. Concubine Su ignored him completely and good child, such a good child, if it weren't for you tonight. My chainer is blessed beyond measure to have married you. I entrust him to you now. If he ever disobeys, feel free to discipline him. Beat him or scold him as you please. This 8th grade fate artifact, the purple jade bracelet, was gifted to me by the governor back then. Now I pass it on to you. This bracelet can not only neutralize any poison below the 8th grade, but also condense a purple flood dragon protective destiny light to shield you. Chen. He looked yet to his dismay when Ning accepted the bracelet with obvious delight, as if seeing a treasure for the first time. Her obedient, endearing demeanor made Chen's eyelids twitch and his scalp crawl. He longed to say to her, "Madam, your disguise has slipped." Stop. Chen quietly watched when Ning performed. Suddenly, a bright red banner swept in like a cloud of fire, and in the blink of an eye the flames floated into the small court. The crimson banner suddenly dissipated, revealing 41 figures clad in iron armor, draped in crimson cloaks, and wielding long spears before the onlooker. The leader appeared to be around 12 or 13 years old. Although his face was somewhat youthful, his demeanor was as steady as a mountain. With a fire-like urgency and a mountain-like tranquility, these two qualities were displayed naturally in him, without the slightest pretense or incongruity. Seeing this scene, Chen's pupils constricted, and a complex expression of envy flashed in his eyes. Qian banner. Military strategy. This world is truly remarkable. Humans have developed the method of the dynasty of fortune to gather luck. The great matters of a nation lie in sacrifice and warfare. The most important aspects of the dynasty of fortune are sacrifice and war. Sacrifice is the means by which the dynasty of fortune collects and distributes luck. Warfare, on the other hand, is a method for seizing resources and luck and for developing oneself. To cope with warfare, the people of this world created military strategies. The military strategies here are incredibly extraordinary, allowing practitioners to condense military symbols in their life palaces through cultivation. Generals can resonate with the life essence of soldiers through military symbols, merging them to ultimately form terrifying battle formations and military strategies can enable the weak to triumph over the strong. The stronger a general's understanding and mastery of military strategy, the more soldiers they can command, resulting in an even greater explosive power. Some unparalleled military geniuses can often command large armies across multiple realms to face enemies. One can imagine the power and rarity of military strategies. Ordinary noble families generally lack military strategies. Of course, even if they possess military strategies, they are useless if one cannot comprehend or master them. Because the cultivation of military strategies is extremely difficult, not only requiring patience and insight, but also a strong will and spirit. Moreover, in this world, training soldiers consumes not only a vast amount of resources, but also requires immense luck. Therefore, ordinary lower-tier, noble families cannot cultivate powerful armies. Only regional overlords like the governor's office can truly train large numbers of soldiers and generals. Lu Mingjuan's dominance in the chaotic world of Mingzhou is due to the fact that he commands a troop of 100,000 seven-colored banner soldiers. This troop is divided into 7 kinds: Qiyun, Xingmu, Huda, Ruijin, Hengshui, Mingyue, and Dari. Each of these 7 types of soldiers possesses unique military strategies along with various combinations and tactics for combat. Only Governor Lu Mingyuan has mastered the unified military strategy of the 7-colored banner soldiers. It is said that once Lu Mingyuan gathers the 100,000 seven-colored banner soldiers, he can manifest a battle formation where the sun and moon shine together and the stars protect him. Wherever he goes, the heavens and earth change color and mountains collapse. Of course, this is merely a rumor from the original owner's memory, and Chen does not know its truth. However, in the original owner's memory, he has always yearned for military strategy. Unfortunately, the original owner had mediocre talent and was an unappreciated illegitimate son, thus lacking the opportunity to pursue military strategies. Chen suspects that even if the original owner were given military strategies, he would be unable to comprehend them due to his qualifications. In the governor's office, only the legitimate son of the governor or those with outstanding talents and commendable character can access military strategies. Therefore, most of the commanders of the 7-colored banner soldiers are descendants of the Lu family. This army should in fact be referred to as the Lu family army. 9-pin Qian banner General Lu Yunshan pays respects to Lady Su's 6th uncle and 6th aunt. The leader of the Tian Shi sect invades with his followers, but they have already been repelled by the governor. I have been ordered to eliminate the remnants of the Tianxi sect. It seems that my services are no longer needed here. Farewell. As Lu Chun pondered and reminisced, these banner soldiers had already searched the entire small court. Only then did Lu Yunshan the leader bow slightly and greet everyone. Then with a wave of his hand, a red banner-like military symbol surged from his body instantly, merging his aura with that of the Qiyun banner soldiers. In the eyes of Lu Chun and the others, Lu Yunshan and the Qiyun banner soldiers seemed to transform into a fiery red banner, which then fluttered away, disappearing like a cloud of fire before them. This scene left Lu Chun astonished. Heavens! This is Lu Yunshan, the last glory of the Lu family. After tonight, Mingzhou will face the attacks of the three forces from Yinzhou Haizhou and the Tianlang Demon Kingdom. This war lasted 5 full years, but Lu Mingyuan with the 100,000 seven-colored banner soldiers managed to withstand the assaults of the three forces and ultimately inflicted heavy losses on them. Unfortunately, just as Lu Mingyuan's momentum was about to mount a counterattack, a new overlord, Chu Jingtian, suddenly rose in the north during these 5 years. Chu Jingtian hails from the 4th-rank noble family of Jiangzhou, the Chu family. It is rumored that his innate fate is extraordinary. When Lin Wenlong, the master of the Qishao Dao, first met Chu Jingtian, he believed he possessed the fate of a hegemon destined to be invincible in the world and contend for heaven's mandate. With the assistance of the Qishao Dao, Chu Jingtian unified Jiangzhou in just 5 years. Then in one battle, he killed the overlord of Huaizhou Du Shao, thus unifying Jiang and Huai and becoming the overlord of both states. Subsequently, Chu Jingtian turned his gaze towards the surroundings. Ming's house Lu Mingyuan was his first target. Moreover, Lu Mingyuan's luck was poor. The 5 years of war had already exhausted much of Ming's house luck, and he had originally hoped to counterattack Yinzhou and Haizhou to reclaim luck. Unexpectedly, before he could launch a counteroffensive, Chu Jingtian struck. A cataclysmic battle broke out, and ultimately, due to Lu Mingyuan's lack of luck, he suffered severe injuries and died, while the 7-colored banner soldiers were nearly annihilated. Yet Chu Jingtian was heavily injured by Lu Mingyuan's desperate struggle, suffering significant losses, and was forced to retreat. With Lu Mingyuan's suppression gone, internal conflicts within the Lu family erupted, and a brutal slaughter was about to commence. At this time, Lu Yunshan suppressed all dissent with his powerful military strategies and supported Lu Xingyun to ascend the throne, thus restoring some vitality to the Lu family. Unfortunately, the Lu family encountered the treacherous Zhao Huaishuan, who secretly rose to power by relying on the fortune of his mother and launched a sneak attack on the Lu family. Caught off guard, the Lu family was beaten back by Zhao Huaishuan. Even though Lu Yunshan had extraordinary military talent due to the near annihilation of the 7-colored banner soldiers, he was unable to cultivate the supreme military strategy, sun and moon conquering heaven. He ultimately struggled to fend off Zhao Huaishuan for 3 months before suffering defeat and dying. With Lu Yunshan's death, the Lu family had no one left to resist Zhao Huaishuan's attack, leading to their extermination. Lu Chun. He was initially marveling at the military strategies of this world, but he never expected to hear such immense information from Wen Ning. The amount of information was overwhelming, and for a moment he was stunned. Just moments ago, he was still marveling at the strength and wonder of Lu Mingyuan and the 7-colored banner soldiers. Unexpectedly, he now heard that Lu Mingyuan died in battle 5 years later. Even more unbelievable was that such a powerful Lu family was actually exterminated 5 years later. No, under a collapsed nest there are no complete eggs. Since I have grasped a treasure like the Destiny book, I must defy fate and change my destiny within 5 years. In 5 years I must acquire enough power to master my own destiny. After the Crimson Cloud Banner soldiers departed, the small courtyard fell into silence once more. The night wind swept the scent of blood through the ruined bridal chamber, and Lu Chun stood mute, gazing at the hole in the wall. Moonlight filtered through the gaps in the clouds, casting dappled shadows on the bluestone path. At the same time, new information surfaced in the depths of his vision. You have reversed the fate of dying on your wedding night. The trajectory of destiny now veers toward a new direction. Fortune and calamity walk hand in hand, but once calamity passes, fortune arrives. 9 Grade Fortune 30000. Seeing these prompts, Lu Chen's tense mind eased considerably. He checked his fortune and found it had reached 73918 units of 9 Grade Fortune. Lu Chen's heart stirred. This increase in fortune might mean he had gained more leverage in this world. From Wen Ning's inner thoughts, he already knew that tomorrow Mingzhou would face an invasion by the 3 forces of the celestial wolf demon nation Yinzhou and Haizhou. This great war would last 5 years, and as a member of the Lu clan, after his marriage, Lu Chun would be dispatched to a border city to spread the clan's branches and nurture its fortune. Under these circumstances, he had a premonition that the future would be fraught with danger, and there was a high probability he would be sent to a frontline city for battle. Facing the impending crisis, Lu Chun resolved to enhance his strength as much as possible. Elevate the white ape moon-worshipping art to the perfection realm. The white ape moon-worshipping art was the cultivation method Chen most desired to improve. This breathing technique was the foundation for elevating his. The white ape moon-worshipping art was the cultivation method Chen most desired to improve. This breathing technique was the foundation for elevating his. Can the white ape moon-worshipping art be elevated to the initiate realm? Insufficient fortune cannot elevate. The white ape moon-worshipping art is a 5-grade technique. It requires 5-grade fortune to elevate. To advance from glimpse to initiate requires 105-grade fortune. Initiate to proficient requires 205-grade fortune. Proficient to mastery requires 400. Seeing this, Chen finally gave up hope for this technique. His current fortune once converted to 5-grade fortune would amount to just over 7 units. That was far from enough. With this, Chen had no choice but to turn his attention elsewhere. But upon looking, he was left speechless. The only techniques he could now elevate were the 8-grade reaching sky overturning hand and the 7-grade white ape moon-chasing sword. After 2 perfect resonances, his insights into both techniques had improved through analogy. White ape moon-chasing sword 7-grade proficient. Reaching sky overturning hand 8-grade mastery. For these 2 techniques, elevating the 7-grade one required 7-grade fortune. Chen estimated his own fortune and concluded he could at most elevate this technique to the mastery realm. Thus, he first ruled out elevating this technique. For Chen in his current state, if these arts could not be elevated to the perfection realm, their aid would be minimal. Therefore, his only choice was the 8-grade reaching sky overturning hand. To elevate this technique to perfection, he needed 5600 units of 8-grade fortune. Hence, Chen hesitated about elevating this technique to perfection. For him now, breadth was inferior to depth. Currently, Chen's agility and speed were each boosted by 50 through the 8-grade innate fate heaven-penetrating heart ape, with perception increased by, coupled with the traits of the perfection realm spirit ape evasive art. Once he engaged in combat, his agility and speed boost would reach 70. With such enhancements, Chen's reaction speed, attack speed, and evasive capabilities at the 9-grade realm far surpassed others. What he lacked was offensive power, especially the strength to kill across realms. Unfortunately, as an unfavored concubine-born son, he could not obtain those powerful ultimate arts. And even if he could, his current fortune was insufficient to elevate them. This left Chen deeply frustrated. He fixed his gaze on the lines of the fate book, and finally his eyes settled on the basic swordsmanship. Basic swordsmanship 9-grade perfection traits, sword Dao talent 20, sword Dao attack power 20, elevate sword Dao talent by 10. Buzz. The moment Chen confirmed, he saw his 9-grade fortune decrease by 1000. At the same time, a mysterious force surged, beginning to transform his soul and life essence. In that instant, Chen felt his soul become clear, as if something were growing within his mind. His comprehension and insight into swordsmanship and sword-based arts improved significantly. Buzz. The moment Chen confirmed, he saw his 9-grade fortune decrease by 1000. At the same time, a mysterious force surged, beginning. What's wrong with him? His face is like a dyer's palette. Well, since he's not bothering me, you'll start cultivating too. Tomorrow at dawn, Mingzhou will face upheaval. Lu Mingyuan probably won't have time to check if we've consummated the marriage. I still need to find a way to the Thundercloud City to obtain the ancient tomb's resources and inheritance. Without enough resources, even though I've been reborn, this trash, innate fate still limits my potential. Fortunately, I still have my past lives' cultivation experience and techniques. Tonight, I can open my life meridians and advance to 8th grade. With that thought, she sat cross-legged on the bed, her hands forming various Dao seals. Thunder and fire intertwined in her palms, and faint phoenix cries seemed to emanate from within her body. The Imperial Court's ancient tomb is actually in Thundercloud City. A glint of sharp light flickered in Chen's eyes, but then he shook his head. After all, even knowing the tomb's location, he couldn't find its exact position. Thundercloud City was vast, bordering the 10,000 desolate mountains and the celestial wolf demon nation. With his current strength, without the tomb's inheritance, even if the tomb were delivered to him, entering it would likely mean death. From Wen Ning's inner thoughts, he already knew that tomorrow Mingzhou would face an invasion by the 3 forces of the celestial wolf demon nation Yinzhou and Haizhou. From Wen Ning's inner thoughts, he already knew that tomorrow Mingzhou would face an invasion by the 3 forces of the celestial wolf demon nation Yinzhou and Haizhou. A married woman follows her husband's fate. In this world, most women, once a relationship was confirmed, would share life and death with their partner, unless one side went too far. With this thought, Chen's heart grew calmer. Fate book, elevate my sword Dao talent to 100. Buzz. Instantly lines of information appeared. 9-grade fortune 7000. Sword Dao talent 100. Sword Dao talent resonates with the innate fate heaven-penetrating heart ape awakening sword Dao talent sword heart clear and bright. Sword heart clear and bright first when cultivating sword type techniques comprehension 100 attack 100. Second, the sword heart is pure, unaffected by external sounds and sights, breaking illusions and perceiving the minutest details. Third, communicates with swords with a certain chance of acquiring the sword master's sword Dao insights. Your innate fate's perception talent 50. Your comprehension of basic swordsmanship has improved. Your comprehension of white ape moon-chasing sword has advanced by leaps and bounds. Your white ape moon-chasing sword has entered the mastery realm. Your white ape moon-chasing sword has entered the great success realm. At this moment, countless sword chi, sword light, and sword shadows flickered in Lu Chen's. Sword chi was like light, and sword light was like the moon. Buzz. In that instant, all the swords within the military governor's mansion trembled, emitting a resonant hum, as if in celebration. Clang. In the bridal chamber, the 9th grade long sword hanging on the wall suddenly unsheathed itself and fell into Lu Chen's hand. At that moment, the sword seemed to possess a spirit, radiating strands of sword light. These sword lights were extraordinarily spirited, like swimming fish or elves born from moonlight chasing each other through the lunar glow. The scene was breathtakingly beautiful, as if a banished sword immortal had descended to the mortal world. However, when Ning, who was cultivating on the bed, witnessed this, her scalp tingled and every hair on her body stood on end. In her perception, the temperature in the area plummeted sharply in a short span of time. Those strands of sword light felt extremely dangerous to her, as if they possessed the true essence of piercing all things, infiltrating every crevice and freezing the very soul. Hey, what happened? At this moment, countless question marks flooded her mind. She couldn't understand how the world had turned into this after just a short while of cult. Is this my useless husband Lu Chen? Has he been possessed by a monster? Or has he always possessed formidable sword talent only to die too early in his past life without awakening it? In the central sun-moon hall of the military governor's mansion, the grand hall stood majestic and resplendent. Countless precious gems were embedded within, adorning it like stars. Above the hall, 2 enormous gems hung like the sun and moon, radiating dazzling brilliance. Sitting in the sun-moon hall with both luminaries shining together, one felt as if immersed in the vast cosmos. Lu Mingyuan sat high on the main seat of the hall, his demeanor as steady and profound as an abyss, like a hidden dragon surveying all directions. No one dared to meet his gaze. Below, a host of distinguished individuals stood with heads bowed, including civil and military officials, as well as Taoist priests and sorcerers in robes. Your Excellency, this attack by the Heavenly Serpent sect was entirely unexpected. In the southwestern sector, the 8th Young Master, 9th Young Master, 10th Miss, 12th Miss Concubine, Lu Concubine Song, and others were all brutally murdered. I am incompetent. Charged with guarding the military governor's mansion, I failed to foresee the Heavenly Serpent sect's assault and could not protect the safety of our clan. I beg your Excellency to punish me. Lu Mingguang, the commander of the Great Sun Banner, was drenched in sweat, his face full of terror. He was Lu Mingyuan's own brother and the master of the Great Sun Banner, one of the 7 colored banners. Among the 7 colored banners, the most powerful were the Bright Moon and Great Sun banners. Both were commanded by Lu Mingyuan's most trusted men. The Great Sun Banner was stationed at the central military governor's mansion, overseeing all directions and suppressing the fortune. The Bright Moon Banner operated in secrecy, patrolling the surroundings, gathering intelligence, and assassinating enemy generals. Tonight, during the Heavenly Serpent sect's attack, Lu Mingwang's Great Sun Banner failed to mount an effective defense, and several concubines and lesser-born children. Although these individuals were not favored in the mansion, Lu Mingguang was still terrified. He knew his elder brother Lu Mingyuan's character all too well. Lu Mingyuan was exceptionally talented and destined for greatness. He was ruthless, measuring everything by profit and value. If angered, he would not hesitate to kill even his own brother or son. Lu Mingguang felt both reverence and fear toward his elder brother. Upon hearing Lu Mingguang's words, Lu Mingyuan's expression remained It was as if those who had been killed had nothing to do with him. He merely looked down expressionlessly, remaining silent for a long time. The atmosphere in the hall instantly became suffocatingly oppressive. For a moment, the silence was so profound that one could hear a pin drop. Everyone felt as if the air had suddenly become hundreds of times heavier. Just then, an old Taoist in a black robe with crane-white hair and a youthful face stepped forward. The moment he did, Lu Mingyuan's gaze finally shifted and the oppressive atmosphere in the hall vanished instantly. Everyone in the hall breathed a sigh of relief. Your Excellency, I have something to report. As the Taoist began to speak, Lu Mingyuan immediately looked at him with grave respect. High Priest, please speak. Your Excellency, I oversee the fortune altar of the Mingzhou military governor, responsible for monitoring the fluctuations of fortune in all directions. Any hostility or threat to the governor would be forewarned by the altar. But this time, the Heavenly Serpent sect's attack triggered no reaction or warning from the fortune altar. This is highly abnormal. The High Priest, disregarding Lu Mingyuan's change in demeanor, spoke with a grave and worried expression. Oh, in your opinion, High Priest, why did this happen? The Heavenly Serpent sect's territory is in Haizhou. Not to boast, But even if they allied with Haijo's overlord son, Tao, they could not harm me in the slight. Could it be that the Heavenly Serpent sect members who attacked this time were too weak to warrant a warning from the fortune altar? Lu Mingyuan clearly held the Heavenly Serpent sect in contempt, and even Haijo's overlord son, Tao, did not intimidate him. If not for Mingzhou being connected to the vast barbarian mountains and the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom to the west, where Lu Mingyuan focused most of his energy, he would have long since led his troops to attack Haijo and Yinzhou. No, Your Excellency, do not take this lightly. There is another possibility for the fortune altar's failure to warn. That is, the fortune of our enemies far surpasses that of the governor. The enemy has used techniques of heavenly fate and fortune to obscure the celestial mechanisms, rendering our fortune unable to provide warnings. If I am not mistaken, Sun Tao of Haijo and Huang Mao, the overlord of Yinzhou, have likely joined forces. They may have even allied with the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom and the barbarians from the mountains. I have a premonition that tonight's attack by these Heavenly Serpent sect rats is merely a probing move. They are confirming whether Ming's house fortune has been suppressed. Clearly tonight's events have proven that the fortune of the governor's mansion has indeed been suppressed. They will strike soon. Your Excellency, do not be careless. Please make preparations early. The moment the high priest finished speaking, the Sun Moon Hall erupted. What? Damn Sun Tao and Huang Mao. How dare they collude with foreign races? Traitors. Traitors to humanity. Have the noble families of Haijo and Yinzhou lost their minds? Colluding with foreign races, are they not afraid of publics? They fear nothing. Have you forgotten how the previous emperor of Dakong Murongda died? He was brilliant and mighty, yet he was still besieged and killed by those noble families and sects in alliance with foreign races. Times have changed, these noble families have long gone mad. Above, Lu Mingyuan's expression now turned serious and focused, but there was no trace of fear. In fact, a glint of anticipation and boundless killing intent flickered in his eyes. Everyone, do not panic. Even if they unite, so what? As long as I am here, they cannot overturn the heavens. The moment he spoke, everyone in the hall calmed down instantly. They were certain that as long as Lu Mingyuan was present, even if the sky fell, he would hold it up. Just then the great sun divine sword at Lu Mingyuan's waist suddenly vibrated, emitting strands of sword light, as dazzling as the sun. Oh, so that's it. Interesting. Lu Mingyuan reached out and lifted the sword as if listening to something. Then his gaze turned toward the courtyard in the southwest where Lu Chen resided, a flicker of surprise and curiosity in his eyes. This light was fleeting, and he soon returned to his usual demeanor. Night faded into dawn. In the southwest courtyard of the military governor's mansion, a bizarre and comical scene unfolded within the nuptial chamber. The bride sat cross-legged upon the bed, her hands weaving a series of mysterious and intricate hand seals. Within her palms, lightning and fire intertwined, now taking the form of a thunderbird, now a firebird, and then clashing together to bloom with the radiant brilliance. A purple-gold radiance, the essence of life's origin, emanated from her body, shrouding her, as if in a purple-gold mist. Occasionally distant melodious bird songs seemed to echo from within that mist. Beneath the window of the bridal chamber stood Lu Chen, holding aloft a long sword. His head was slightly raised, gazing at the starry sky, resembling a white ape paying homage to the bright moon. Streams of moonlight essence continuously flowed from the long sword, eventually entering his body. Though the sword was merely a ninth-rank life tool in Lu Chen's hands, it seemed imbued with spirit and life. After a night of being refined by the moonlight essence, the ninth-rank blade appeared brighter and sharper than before. If anyone else in the military governor's mansion who cultivated the white ape moon worship art had witnessed this, they would have been utterly shocked and bewildered. This was because the white ape moon worship art was not meant to be practiced in this manner. The white ape is a creature of pure heart and sincere spirit. Once enlightened, it becomes highly spiritual and intelligent. The white ape moon worship art is a breathing method created by powerful beings who observe the enlightenment and growth of white apes. The core and most crucial parts of this breathing method are the white ape moon worship stance and the white ape pure heart. The white ape pure heart describes the practitioner's need to possess the same sincere and devout attitude as the white ape when paying homage to the moon. The heart must be like a clear mirror, transparent and flawless. Only in this state can one gather the moon's essence from heaven and earth. The white ape moon worship stance is the method of using one's innate life phase to absorb the moonlight essence and transform it into one's own life essence. Therefore, to cultivate the white ape moon worship art, both the stance and the state of mind are indispensable. Yet the human mind is so complex. Apart from a few who can maintain a childlike heart, most cannot sustain this state for long. This makes this breathing method, though only 5th rank, more difficult to master than many higher-ranking breathing methods. The original owner had obtained this breathing method at the age of 6 and practiced it diligently for 12 years, rain or shine. Yet after all that self-disciplined contemplation, he had only scratched the surface, unable even to make a true entry. Having been shaped by modern society, Lu Chen's mind was even more complex and chaotic than the original owner's. A childlike heart simply did not exist. Consequently, his understanding and cultivation of the white ape moon worship art were even worse than the original owner's. What pained him was that he lacked the luck to enhance this breathing method. Lu Chen had considered finding a way to switch to a different breathing method the previous night. Although the innate life phase determines the upper limit of a person's life essence, a breathing method can unlock the potential of that life phase. The more powerful the breathing method, the more thoroughly it unlocks the potential of the innate life phase. Given Lu Chen's current position in the military governor's mansion, obtaining a better breathing method was exceedingly difficult. But just last night, Lu Chen suddenly awakened a sword talent, Sword Heart of Clarity. This talent not only cleared his mind, dispelling all stray thoughts and illusions, but also made him feel divinely aided, immensely fluent, and explosively insightful when cultivating sword-type techniques. Thus, after some contemplation last night, Lu Chen devised a method to cultivate the white ape moon worship art. He practiced the white ape moon worship art while simultaneously cultivating the basic sword art. The basic sword art had long been perfected by him, becoming an instinct of his body. After numerous attempts, Lu Chen managed to integrate the movements of the basic sword art into the white ape moon worship art. Thus, under the enhancement of Sword Heart of Clarity, he gradually modified the white ape moon worship art beyond recognition. He used his heart to communicate with the longsword, replacing the pure heart with the sword heart, using the sword's body as a guide, merging man and sword into one. In just half a night, Lu Chen had comprehended the white ape moon worship art to the level of proficiency. At that moment, within his life palace, the silver dust of life essence had turned to gold. Originally, there were only over 300 grains of life essence. Now there were 600. These 600 grains of life essence, like golden beans, orbited his innate life phase, a fascinating sight. The ninth rank life dust realm, where life essence is like dust, marks the beginning of a creature's evolution. Feeling the power contained within each grain of life essence in his body, Lu Chen couldn't help but reveal a joyful smile. Each grain of life essence was enough for him to unleash a full-powered strike. This was the first time he had personally experienced the true essence of cultivation in this world. This feeling was truly incredible, intoxicating, and addictive. He was so immersed in it that he even forgot that the previous night had been his wedding night. And it wasn't just him, Wen Ning had forgotten as well. Thus, when dawn broke and Lu Chen's and when Ning's eyes met, they both stared at each other in mutual confusion, the atmosphere somewhat awkward. Boom, roar, moo, howl, growl. Just then a world-shaking sound suddenly came from afar. The earth trembled, and the sounds of dragons, roaring tigers, howling wolves, baying, and turtles crying echoed through the sky. Lu Chen and Wen Ning's expressions shifted, and they immediately turned their gazes into the distance. It's starting. The Great War has begun. In his past life, it was the military governor's mansion's high priest who foresaw the encirclement by Yin Province, High Province, the Celestial Wolf Demon Kingdom, and the Southern Barbarians. At dawn, Lu Mingyuan led the 7 colored flag soldiers in a preemptive strike. With his peerless military strategy, he commanded the 7 colored flag soldiers, allowing them to traverse and hide within Yin Yang and the 5 elements, coming and going without a trace. By taking them by surprise, he dealt a heavy blow to High Province's overlord Sun Tao and the Celestial Serpent sect's leader, the Celestial Serpent Taoist. High Province's fortune plummeted, suffering heavy losses. It was precisely this strike that made the Celestial Wolf Demon Kingdom Yin Province's overlord Huang Mao and the Southern Barbarians hesitant, preventing them from going all out, thus turning this war into a war of attrition that lasted a full 5 years. Lu Chen listened to Wen Ning's inner thoughts, while simultaneously activating his fate, eyed to peer into the void. In his field of vision above the border between High Province and Ming Province, 2 giant beasts manifested from fortune were colliding and tearing at each other like primordial monsters. Ming Province's fortune was manifested as a legless horned dragon, its body shrouded in a 7-colored radiance, its eyes as bright as the sun, and wherever its gaze fell, light and dark alternated. The sun and moon shone simultaneously, and stars twinkled. High Province's fortune, on the other hand, was manifested as a colossal dragon turtle, its body vast as a mountain, exuding an aura of cataclysmic floods that could drown the world. However, this dragon turtle of fortune now seemed dispirited, its shell pierced with numerous vicious cracks. Streams of fortune continuously leaked and dissipated from these cracks. The dragon turtle fought back, desperately trying to escape. At the same time, in the northeast, at the tri-junction of Ming Province, Yin Province, and High Province, a flaming tiger formed from fortune swiftly pounced forward, as if trying to converge with the dragon turtle. Simultaneously, in the west of Ming Province, a colossal fortune wolf emerged, howling at the sky, as if it would swallow the sun and moon. In the southwest, a shocking murderous aura surged into the sky as a pitch-black fortune bull charged headlong towards Ming Province. Roar, The horned dragon born from Ming's house Fortune bellowed in fury at the sky, yet dared not pursue the dragon tortoise any further and could only retreat into Mingzhou. In an instant, these colossal beasts of fortune stared at each other from a distance, none daring to strike again. But in Lu Chen's view, the fortunes of various factions were already converging toward Mingzhou, constantly probing and eroding it. Clearly, they intended to fight a war of attrition by sheer numbers. By decree of the military governor Sun Tao of Haizhou and Huang Mao of Yanzhou have colluded with foreign tribes to invade Mingzhou. Both are traitors to humanity, deserving of death by all. From this day forth, all citizens of Mingzhou bear the duty to defend their land against invaders. Any who dare collude with foreign tribes or exploit chaos will be dealt with as rebels. One person betrays, the entire family shares the guilt. From this day forth, all citizens of Mingzhou who fight valiantly shall be blessed with fortune. Those who slay experts from the heavenly wolf demon kingdom or the southern barbarians shall be rewarded with treasures, life-bound artifacts, elixirs, and fortune without stint from the military governor's mansion. At the military governor's mansion, Lu Chun and Wen Ning were preparing to pay respects to the matriarch with tea. They saw the entire mansion enveloped in an atmosphere of tension. Almost everyone wore grave expressions as guard soldiers and standard-bearers patrolled the void incessantly. Clatter, clatter, clatter. Just then the sound of footsteps echoed. Lu Chun and Wen Ning immediately saw Gao Hong approaching with a dozen standard-bearers. Gao Hong's eyes lit up at the sight of Lu Chun. After scrutinizing him with a peculiar expression, he cupped his hands in salute. Greetings, sixth young master, sixth young madam. By order of the governor, the sixth young master, refined and intelligent with the bearing of a sword cultivator, is hereby bestowed a cup of 4th grade fortune, a 6th grade bright light sword, and a 9th grade military treatise, spirit snake art of war. As a scion of the Lu family now, would you bear the duty of continuing the bloodline, expanding the clan, and strengthening its fortune. The sixth young master Lu Chun is appointed town guardian of Heihe City. The sixth young madam Wen Ning displayed composure, courage, and unwavering loyalty last night by eliminating the triad of the celestial serpent sect. She is thus bestowed a cup of 4th grade fortune. May you continue to strive, keeping your original intent. May you soon bear children to continue the Lu lineage. Lu Chun. What? Had Lu Mingyuan lost his mind? Yesterday at the wedding he had described him as obedient, gentle, filial, and law-abiding, subtly implying cowardice and mediocrity. Yet today Lu Mingyuan called him refined and intelligent with the bearing of a sword cultivator, bestowing such generous rewards. In just one night, such a drastic change in attitude made Lu Chen deeply uneasy. Could it be that Lu Mingyuan knows I awakened the sword talent heart of the sword last night? Hiss. At this thought, Lu Chen's scalp tingled. He felt that nothing in the governor's mansion escaped Lu Mingyuan's eyes. Every move he made was observed and understood. This constant feeling of being seen through and watched was utterly maddening. Not only him, but Wen Ning's eyelids also twitched. She hadn't expected that such a trivial matter as killing the triad last night amidst the chaos of the mansion would be known to Lu Mingyuan. Lu Mingyuan was indeed one of the most terrifying and powerful overlords of the 15 southern prefectures. Nothing in the governor's mansion escaped his eyes. In her past life, had Chu Jingtian not risen abruptly to disrupt Lu Mingyuan's fortune, Zhao Huaxian would never have had a chance. Such a figure was truly fearsome. But in this life, everything had changed. Her useless husband hadn't died, but had instead awakened his sword talent, now drawing Lu Mingyuan's attention, his worth skyrocketing. Marrying him in this life, she had gained 2 cups of 4th grade fortune in just 2 days. Her starting point was far stronger than in her past life. Not bad at all. Once she absorbed these 2 cups of 4th grade fortune, she would be confident enough to enter the ancient tomb and acquire resources greatly boosted. It seemed this marriage swap was worthwhile. But this post of Heihe City Town Guardian, if memory served, Heihe City was one of the subsidiary towns of Leyyan City. Last night, its guardian had been assassinated by an expert from the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom. With the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom invading Mingzhou, Heihe City was one of the towns near the front lines. In her past life, the city had been breached by their army with over 100,000 humans slaughtered. Now her cheap husband being appointed its guardian. Was it a blessing or a curse? Fortunately, Heihe City wasn't far from the ancient tomb of the Middle Ancient Dafeng Imperial Court. Little Lu Chen easily handled. If he dared betray her, she'd send him to his grave. Lu Chen. Good, he remembered her words. He would see who would outmaneuver whom. He the time traveler holding the supreme artifact, the Book of Fate, or she the reincarnator. Let time tell who would dominate. At that moment, both Lu Chen and Wen Ning received another azure fortune serpent. The innate life symbols in their destiny palaces hummed with excitement. But in Lu Chen's palace, before his innate symbol could roar, it was suppressed by the Book of Fate, which absorbed and subdued the azure serpent. The Book of Fate was supremely domineering. Without Lu Chen's the Book Lord's consent, nothing could seize his fortune. Another 100,000 units of ninth grade fortune had been secured. Lu Chen's fortune value had changed fortune ninth, grade 165918. Seeing this number, he felt his fortune was vast and powerful, but when he mentally converted it, he realized he had been inflated. Converted to 7th grade fortune, it was only a little over 1600 units. And if converted upward, the figures were pitiful. Thus Lu Chen calmed down instantly. With a solemn and respectful expression, he took the 6th grade bright light sword and the 9th grade spirit snake art of war from Gao Hong. Thank you for father's gifts. I appreciate your trouble, Commissioner Gao. Lu Chen smiled and cupped his hands in thanks. Haha, serving the governor is my duty, no trouble at all. Gao Hong's attitude today was markedly better than yesterday, his face beaming as he spoke to Lu Chen. Of course, if Lu Chen hadn't overheard his thoughts, he might have thought it even better. Ah, how strange. Was the governor drunk last night? Why the sudden change in attitude toward the 6th young master? I heard the Heihe City Town Guardian was assassinated last night. Could the governor be trying to secretly dispose of this disgraceful waste? Before Lu Chen could react to Gao Hong's thoughts, the latter spoke again. 6th young master, 6th young madam, the governor orders that you need not present tea. Please set out immediately with the grain convoy for Heihe City. The governor has prepared flame Qilin horses for you. The two were speechless. Outside Mingzhou City, Lu Chen and Wen Ning rode tall flame Qilin horses behind the grain transport convoy, both wearing expressions of bewilderment and curiosity. Just moments ago, after the messenger Gao Hong relayed Lu Minjiwan's orders, the two immediately went to bid farewell to concubine Su. Unexpectedly, concubine Su did not try to detain them at all. She directly helped pack their belongings and then pushed them out the door. Son, daughter-in-law, you must obediently follow the governor's orders. Once you reach Heihe City, work hard to have children. My future comfort depends entirely on you too. If you think you're not up to much, just have more kids. Strive to birth a few promising ones. If the main account is a loss, start a new one. Don't worry, the governor's mansion can easily support a dozen children. Just focus on having them. If you don't want to raise them, send them back to me. Gao Hong's eyes lit up at the sight of Lu Chen. After scrutinizing him with a peculiar expression, he cupped his hands and saluted. These were concubine Zu's parting words. The two were speechless. Clatter, clatter. Just then, rapid hoofbeats sounded from the front of the grain convoy. Lu Chen looked up and immediately saw a flame Qilin horse galloping towards him like the wind. On its back sat a valiant youth clad in silver armor and a white. The valiant youth was about 15 years old. At his waist hung a gleaming golden sword, and in his hand he held a silver spear. White robes, white armor, golden sword, silver spear. The moment Lu Chen saw this youth, he couldn't help but feel a pang of admiration. Setting aside his abilities, just his bearing and attire alone would have captivated countless women in his past life. Without a trace, Lu Chen activated his Eye of Fate. Lu Xinghai, 15 years old, innate fate, golden-eyed, divine eagle, 6th grade cultivation, 7th grade life, spring fate, talent, eagle eye vision, 300 perception, 200 military talent, broken army, with keen vision and insight, has a high chance of discerning the enemy's weaknesses and flaws. Luck, 6th grade, 3100. Tisk TSK. Seeing the youth's information, Lu Chen sighed inwardly. Truly, the Lu clan, having produced a hegemon like Lu Mingyuan, was not lacking in talent. Lu Xinghai pays respects to 6th brother and 6th sister-in-law. I am the grain transport officer for this mission. I hope 6th brother and 6th sister-in-law will stay with the convoy and not wander off to avoid any accidents. Rest assured, as long as you follow the convoy, I will safely deliver you to Heihe City. After delivering these resources to Heihe City, I will assume the post of Heihe City Defense Commander. If 6th brother and 6th sister-in-law encounter any trouble in Heihe City, feel free to come to me. Just as Lu Chen was lost in thought, the youth had already approached them and subtly cupped his hands in greeting. Every move the youth made was filled with sincerity and earnestness. His words were also pleasant to hear. Of course, it would have been even better if Lu Chen couldn't hear his internal complaints. Sigh. Heihe City is currently on the front lines of the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom. Even the previous city governor was assassinated. 6th brother is truly pitiable. He was already an unwanted waste in the governor's mansion, and now he's been sent to Heihe City to propagate the family line. 6th sister-in-law has such a refined aura. Marrying 6th brother is like a fresh flower stuck in a pile of cow dung. I hope my future partner will have an aura as refined as 6th sister-in-law's. Where's my true love? Forget it, I'm still young. My main focus now should be on building my career. A strong man will never lack women. That's what my father taught me. A waste like 6th brother might be handsome, but what use is good looks? Without strength and ability, he can't even protect his life when danger comes. Lu Chen was dumbfounded. Listening to the relentless, endless chatter and complaints streaming from the valiant youth's mind, he was utterly exasperated. He had thought the youth was a white-robed general who could charm countless maidens, but it turned out his inner self was a blabbermouth. The illusion shattered completely. At that moment, Lu Chen's gaze towards Lu Xinghai turned peculiar. Just then, Wen Ning's inner voice suddenly reached him. Lu Xinghai. Isn't this the ruthless man who in his past life charged 9 times into the Heavenly Wolf army? What a pity he was too outstanding, too conspicuous. The Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom sent a massive army and numerous experts to besiege Heiha's city, shattering its luck in one battle. Although Lu Xinghai fought to the last soldier, he was ultimately slain. It is said that even after death his body stood tall, radiating fierce aura. The soldiers of the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom dismembered and devoured his corpse, making his skull into a drinking cup. How tragic. Lu Chen was speechless. So Lu Xinghai's past life ended so miserably. While considering his past life, he decided not to hold it against him. He was a pitiful soul too. Thus Lu Chen looked at Lu Xinghai with a smile tinged with pity. Xinghai, you 6th brother, from now on please address me as Grain Transport Officer. Lu Xinghai immediately put on a stern face as he heard Lu Chen speak. Lu Chen was speechless. The smile on his face gradually faded. Very well, General Lu. You just said that after delivering the supplies to Heiha's city, what position will you be taking up? Lu Xinghai beamed upon hearing the change in address. City Defense Commander. Why? 6th brother, rest assured, as long as you don't cause trouble, I'll help you if anyone bothers you. Lu Chen smiled at Lu Xinghai and shook his head, then took out an appointment letter from his bosom and handed it to him. General Lu, take a look at this. What is it? Lu Xinghai dumbfoundedly took the letter and flipped through it. Upon reading it, his eyes bulged wide. You are the Heiha city governor. This is impossible. Has the governor lost his mind appointing you as governor? No, I don't believe it. Lu Xinghai's face flushed like a rainbow. He examined the appointment letter over and over, refusing to believe it was real. But the more he looked, the more crushed he felt, because the letter was genuine. Lu Xinghai, looking as if he had swallowed a pile of filth, returned the letter to Lu Chen, then gloomily and black-faced rode away on his horse. Sigh. It's over. The governor has lost his mind. Heiha city is doomed. From now on I'll have to hold up Heiha city all by myself. 6th brother, I'll just treat him as a wooden puppet. The continuous stream of inner thoughts reached Lu Chen, and his face darkened as well. A soft chuckle broke the silence. Lu Chen looked up and saw Wen Ning covering her mouth, giggling. He shot her a glare, then patted his flame Qilin horse and followed the convoy as it began to move. At the same time, he took out the 9th grade Spirit Snake military art from his pack and began to study it. 15 minutes later, Lu Chen flipped through the Spirit Snake warfare, his eyes filled with confusion and distress. What is all this? Especially the part about the military talisman's condensation. It was like a ghostly scribble. Ultimately, Lu Chen turned his gaze toward the fate book. Enhance Spirit Snake warfare to perfection. As his thoughts stirred, streams of information immediately surfaced, flooding his soul and the essence of life with countless insights and experiences regarding the Spirit Snake warfare. 9 rank Fortune 100. Your understanding of the Spirit Snake warfare has just begun. 200. Reach the threshold. 400. Achieve proficiency. 3200. Reach perfection. Fortune 9 rank 159618. Boom. Meanwhile, within Lu Chen's fate palace, particles of golden life essence continuously gathered, resembling puppets under his whimsical control. The golden life essence transformed into talismans and threads, ultimately condensing into a golden snake-shaped military talisman. In that moment, Lu Chen felt a significant enhancement in his will, soul, and perception. He achieved a qualitative improvement in his control over life essence. Buzz. The Spirit Snake military talisman trembled, emitting an invisible magnetic field and waves that began to spread from Lu Chen's body. Instantly, Lu Chen discovered that all beings enveloped by his magnetic field felt their life essence boiling in resonance. His life essence, like spider silk, began to invade the beings within the magnetic field as if he intended to grasp them completely in his palm. At that moment, within this magnetic field, Lu Chen felt like a deity, the ruler of all beings. Lu Chen enveloped 30 soldiers ahead with the magnetic field, instantly perceiving how their life magnetic fields began to be affected. Their life magnetic fields started to converge towards Lu Chen's, even their breathing techniques and life essence began to distort. 3 days. Lu Chen was confident that if given 3 days' time, he could convert these 30 soldiers from white flag soldiers into his Spirit Snake soldier. Once transformed into Spirit Snake soldiers, he could resonate with them, merging their life magnetic fields as one. At that time, Lu Chen could command them to form various battle formations. Is this the art of war? At this moment, Lu Chen finally personally experienced the power of military strategy in this world. Not only that, but achieving the full comprehension of the Spirit Snake warfare resonated with the heavens, granting him a special trait. That is the absolute control over power and life essence. Lu Chen could manipulate his own life essence and power just as he would control a soldier. He extended his palm, instantly decomposing a particle of life essence into 50 slender threads. The 50 threads combined freely in his palm, sometimes transforming into a spirit snake, sometimes evolving into a spirit sword, and at times morphing into a ball of flame. Of course, these manifestations were all very tiny and imperfect. Yet even so, this scene was enough to astonish. It represented Lu Chen's mastery over power had reached an intricate and meticulous level. Hiss. What happened? This fluctuation must be the domain formed after condensing the military talisman, right? Did he not just browse through the military book? How did he condense the military talisman so quickly? The range of this domain fluctuation can only be possessed by those who have comprehended the 9-rank military strategy to perfection. Could it be that he has already achieved full comprehension of the spirit snake warfare? This is impossible. How can such a non-human existence exist in this world? How could it be that my cheap husband is not only a genius in the sword path, but also a legendary figure in military strategy? Damn Lu Mingyuan, the Lu family should be damned for wasting such an extraordinary talent. What a waste of talent. Ha ha. Since you do not cherish him, let me cultivate him. I have a wealth of military strategies in my memory. These military strategies are all inherited from the ancient tombs of the Middle Ages. Some are even comparable to the Lu family's Sun and Moon unification military strategy. Ha ha ha, when I cultivate this cheap husband into a renowned general, he will become my personal general. At that time he will conquer the world while I enjoy the fruits of his labor. Just thinking about it is exciting. Lu Chen. I heard that. I heard it. He didn't need to turn around to know what expression Wen Ning had at this moment. That damn woman actually wants to play a nurturing game. Unfortunately, she could never imagine that Lu Chen could hear her thoughts. She couldn't even fathom that Lu Chen was not a genius or extraordinary figure. He was merely slightly enhanced. Let's wait and see. I want to see how you raise me. Lu Chen chuckled coldly, then reached out to play with the 6th-rank Mingguang sword given by Lu Mingyuan. With sword heart clarity, activated, his mind instantly entered a state of thoughtlessness pure and flawless. Lu Chen communicated with the Mingguang's sword, and his mind began to resonate with the sword, ultimately merging into one. In an instant, countless sword path insights and information surged into his soul. Congratulations, the book owner has obtained the Fire Ape Worshipping the Sun Technique, 5th-rank proficient insight. Congratulations, the book owner has obtained the Fire Ape Chasing the Sun Sword, 7th-rank major achievement insight. Congratulations, the book owner has obtained the Rising Sun Unity Sword, 8th-rank major achievement insight. Congratulations, the book owner has obtained the Zhengyang Banishment Sword, 8th-rank major achievement insight. Congratulations, the book owner has obtained the Setting Sun Afterglow Sword, 8th-rank proficient insight. Lu Chen. He was stunned. This was the first time he used this sword heart clarity talent to communicate with a sword artifact, and he never expected such a grand gift awaited him. These insights not only contained the inheritance of techniques, but also the comprehension of these techniques by predecessors. It was simply an experience gift pack. Of course, these experience gift packs could not merely be memorized. Lu Chen needed to continuously cultivate to transform these experiences into his own instincts. But this was already significant. With these insights, Lu Chen could quickly digest this knowledge and understanding. It was equivalent to stealing a lifetime's worth of wisdom from others in a short time. Buzz. With sword heart clarity, activated, Lu Chen absorbed, digested, and devoured the insights of various sword techniques with almost no difficulty. Furthermore, as he absorbed these sword techniques, his understanding of swordsmanship became increasingly profound, and inspiration and ideas flowed like spring water. At this moment, 2 little figures manifested in Lu Chen's eyes. The 2 figures wielded long swords, continuously evolving various sword techniques. Sword light, sword the rising sun broke through the darkness. The sword light was magnificent, filled with boundless vitality and hope. As the sword light ascended, it evolved into a great sun, dominating the sky, fierce and intense. Wherever it passed, all evils retreated, and endless radiance illuminated all around. As the little figures waved, the sword light slanted westward, evolving into the setting sun, infinitely beautiful, yet filled with regret and despair. The setting sun is infinitely beautiful, but it is close to dusk. The sword light is heartbreakingly beautiful, as if it could bury all past regrets and reluctance. As this sword light extinguished, Lu Chen's eyes at that moment lost all color, as if he had fallen into endless darkness. Lu Chen's eyes were shrouded in silence, enveloped in darkness. Yet his mind was remarkably active, bursting forth with countless inspirations regarding sword techniques at almost every moment. He yearned to consolidate these insights and create an all-encompassing sword technique, but he found himself overwhelmed by a sense of helplessness. Lu Chen realized that his intellect was insufficient. Therefore, he turned his gaze towards the fate book, focusing on his swordsmanship talent. Enhanced swordsmanship talent. With Lu Chen's acquiescence, streams of information instantly materialized. 90-year fortune, 10000. Your swordsmanship talent, 300. You awaken the swordsmanship talent, 10,000 swords return to origin. 10,000 swords returned to origin, able to easily perceive the principles of swordsmanship, accommodating countless techniques into one. Your swordsmanship talent, Clear Mind of the Sword, receives a tremendous boost. Clear Mind of the Sword 1, while cultivating sword techniques, comprehension 300, attack 300. 2. A clear mind unaffected by external distractions, dispelling illusions and perceiving the minutiae. 3. Communicating with swords with a great probability of gaining insights from the sword master. Fortune 59,618. Boom. Almost at the moment Lu Chen's swordsmanship talent was enhanced, the darkness in his eyes was cleaved apart by two beams of sword light. The darkness shattered, giving birth to endless light. This sword light encompassed the essence of morning sun, one Qi, sword, Xingyang exorcism, sword, evening sun, afterglow sword, and fire, ape, chasing the sun's sword. The great sun traverses the heavens, cycling ceaselessly, unstoppable and infinite. The trajectories of the sword light were omnipresent, resembling perfect arcs, embodying a characteristic of encompassing all and being flawless. Wherever the sword light passed, the three truths of morning sun, midday sun, and evening sun intertwined, and sometimes became chaotic, giving a sensation of time distortion and stagnation. Sword 1, Great Sun, traverses the heavens. Clash. At this moment, the sixth-tier Mingguang sword in Lu Chen's hand seemed to awaken from slumber, radiating dazzling brilliance. Mingguang's sword was extraordinarily sentient. Upon awakening, it transformed into a crimson sword light that continuously circled around Lu Chen. The sword light resembled a small sun harboring formidable sword energy and power. What just happened? This is the sixth-tier fate. Is this sixth-tier fate sword choosing a master? How is that possible? The first to awaken from the commotion behind was Wen Ning, who was cultivating beside Lu Chen. She raised her head, feeling a sharp pain in her eyes as the temperature around her soared at that moment. Powerful sword energies enveloped Lu Chen, shrouding him, yet these energies did not harm him in the slightest. Seeing this scene, Wen Ning immediately understood what was happening. The sixth-tier fate weapon Mingguang's sword was choosing its master. The fate weapons of this world are quite unique. They need to grow alongside humans. Freshly forged fate weapons are almost like blank slates. They require cultivators to nurture them with the essence of life, cultivating their sentience and removing impurities. Over time, the sentience of blank fate weapons grows stronger until they can resonate with their master, at which point they automatically absorb energy to evolve. Indeed, in this world, those powerful fate weapons can cultivate and evolve on their own. These powerful weapons possess not only a network of spiritual meridians akin to those in the human body, but also a chamber for storing energy. The chamber is fundamental to the fate weapon. Only when the weapon truly recognizes its master will it open the chamber, allowing a mark to be placed upon it. Once the chamber is marked, it signifies that the weapon has completely submitted and will remain loyal, sharing in life and death. Fate weapons are incredibly loyal. Once their master abandons them or dies, many fate weapons will automatically close their chambers, choosing to fall into silence and slumber. Of course, many cultivators pass on their fate weapons after death or keep them as a legacy. Thus, while these weapons may slumber, they can still be awakened to choose a new master among the younger generation. These fate weapons are also known as legacy weapons. However, even so, if the younger generation cannot move these legacy weapons, they will not recognize a master. If legacy weapons do not recognize a master, then the younger disciples will be unable to unleash their full power. Just like Lu Chen, if the Mingguang sword does not recognize a master, he will need to expend his own life essence to wield it. But once the Mingguang sword recognizes a master, he will no longer need to consume his own life essence to output power. Instead, he will draw upon the energy stored within the Mingguang sword's chamber. One is the life essence of a 9th-tier cultivator, and the other is the energy stored in a 6th-tier fate weapon. The disparity in power output is evident. Once the Mingguang sword recognizes a master, it is equivalent to Lu Chen possessing the external elixir of a 6th-tier expert, enabling him to unleash the power that only 6th-tier masters can control. His strength would undergo a qualitative change. How enviable that would be. At this moment, Wen Ning felt a mixture of envy and shock. She never expected that Lu Chen had only just obtained the 6th-tier Mingguang sword, and now it was already recognizing him as its master. This is bad. Letting this guy obtain a 6th-tier fate weapon makes my nurturing game much more difficult. However, it's good. With this guy's strength, enhance my safety is also with this guy's strength, he should be secure in the position of the guard of Black River City now. When Ning thought of this, her expression becoming complex. The changes in this life were too great, she could hardly see the future clearly. Meanwhile, in the center of the group, Lu Xinghai was also awakened by the commotion behind, turning around to witness this scene. In an instant, Lu Xinghai was taken aback. This is the 6th-tier Mingguang sword recognized a master. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. The Mingguang sword is one of the legacy fate weapons left behind by Lu Xingzhou, the ancestor of the Lu family. Lu Xingzhou had an extraordinary destiny and exceptional swordsmanship talent. It was precisely because of his presence that my Lu family gradually developed from an inferior clan into a prominent family in Mingzhou. Without Lu Xingzhou, there would be no glory for my Lu family today. How could the ancestors' fate weapon recognize a waist as its master? Impossible. I don't believe it. Despite Lu Xinghai's disbelief in what he was witnessing, he could not deny the fact that the Mingguang sword had recognized Lu Chen as its master. The sword energy manifested by the Mingguang sword circled around Lu Chen a few times before he extended his hand to infuse a strand of life essence into the Mingguang sword. In an instant, the Mingguang sword completely settled into Lu Chen's hand. At that moment, Lu Chen distinctly sensed the enormous energy contained within the Ming. This energy was not only vast, but also harbored a terrifying heat resembling a massive furnace. Lu Chen raised the Mingguang sword, activating the perfected realm of the fire ape worshipping the sun technique. In an instant, he perceived streams of immense sunlight being attracted, transformed, and guided by the Mingguang sword, ultimately entering his fate chamber. 1 grain, 2 grains, 3 grains. At this moment, the life essence within Lu Chen's chamber began to increase at a visible rate. What delighted him further was that his life essence began to emit glimmers of purple-gold radiance. This was a sign of the enhancement of the quality of his life essence. In the team, Lu Xinghai witnessed this scene, his face a picture of utter disbelief. The hope he had been clinging to finally died. Clearly, the Mingguang sword had truly acknowledged its master. He fell silent. The day passed quickly. Throughout the entire daylight hours, Lu Chen was immersed in cultivation. After countless attempts, he finally managed to integrate the basic sword art into the fire ape worshipping the sun method. Now Lu Chen's swordsmanship talent had been further enhanced. For any technique or skill related to swords, his comprehension and talent were boosted by 300. Therefore, as long as he incorporated even a trace of the sword forms from the basic sword art into any technique, he would gain the blessing of swordsmanship talent. With the blessing of swordsmanship talent, Lu Chen could continuously refine the fire ape worshipping the sun method and the white ape worshipping the moon method. He believed it wouldn't be long before he comprehended these two breathing techniques to a profound depth, modifying them beyond recognition into new techniques. Night fell. The moon rose. Lu Chen retrieved his original lifebound artifact, the 9th grade moon shadow sword, and began cultivating the white ape worshipping the moon method. There was no help for it. The 6th grade Mingguang sword was aligned with the attributes of yang light and fire. Using the Mingguang sword to channel the essence of moonlight would undoubtedly yield poor results. Moreover, nearly all cultivators in this world nurtured their own lifebound artifacts. Only a self-nurtured lifebound artifact could achieve perfect harmony. Lu Chen was no exception. As soon as he picked up the moon shadow sword, it began to tremble, displaying a demeanor that was both aggrieved and excited. Clearly, the moon shadow sword had sensed Lu Chen's subjugation of the Mingguang sword during the day. With his sword heart of clarity, he could perceive the emotions transmitted by the moon shadow sword with perfect clarity, and his expression turned somewhat awkward. He felt like a two-timing scoundrel. Be good. Don't fuss. You are my primary lifebound sword. Rest assured I will nurture you well. Soon, under Lu Chen's honeyed words, the moon shadow sword calmed down, reverting to its obedient and understanding demeanor. The Mingguang sword. Wen Ning. You heartless scoundrel. Wen Ning in particular looked at Lu Chen with a gaze full of vigilance. Wasn't it said that this fellow was honest, timid, and had no female friends besides Wen Wan for 18 years? Where did he learn such smooth-talking nonsense? Could this be his true nature? As expected, men are all unreliable dogs. Lu Chen. His eyelids twitched. He was somewhat bewildered. How was he heartless? Ignoring Wen Ning's internal cursing, he quickly shut off his mind-reading ability, then raised the moon shadow sword and entered a cultivation state. But soon Lu Chen frowned. He discovered that the moon shadow sword's ability to channel lunar essence was far inferior to the Mingguang sword's ability to channel solar. Without comparison, there is no harm. But now with the comparison, Lu Chen felt the moon shadow sword was somewhat lacking. The moon shadow sword. Last night you didn't think so. Last night you called me sweetheart. Today, with a new favorite, you want to call me old cow. If the moon shadow sword were also proficient in mind reading, it would definitely go on strike. While holding the moon shadow sword and executing the sword forms of the basic sword art, Lu Chen simultaneously circulated the white ape worshipping the moon method for breathing and meditation, all while pondering how to quickly strengthen the moon shadow sword. He utilized the art of multitasking to its fullest. Upgrade moon shadow sword. Ultimately, Lu Chen turned his gaze to the fate book. The moment he confirmed, his fortune decreased by another 1000. Now his fortune was only 49618. The moon shadow sword began to vibrate, utterly bewildered, unaware of what was happening. It only felt its spirituality surging and its speed of absorbing lunar essence skyrocketing. It sensed that something strange was beginning to grow within it. Yes, that was right. Its body started to develop markings resembling the meridians of a human body. It could now store this energy within those markings. Ninth grade and 8th grade lifebound artifacts did not possess an artifact palace. Ninth grade artifacts were mostly in a state of ignorance and confusion. 8th grade artifacts had significantly increased spirituality and could, with their master's assistance, absorb energy to open spiritual veins and strengthen themselves. Only 7th grade artifacts began to develop an artifact palace. And now the Moon Shadow Sword had advanced to the 8th grade. Instantly, Lu Chen felt a surge of lunar essence transmitted from the Moon Shadow Sword vastly increased. Although it was still far inferior to the 6th grade Mingguang Sword, he was quite satisfied. Thus, Lu Chen continued his cultivation, relentlessly comprehending the white ape, worshipping the moon method, and integrating the sword forms of the basic sword art into it. Seeing him cultivate so fervently day and night, Wen Ning's eyelids twitched. This guy is simply a cultivation maniac. No, I must cultivate too. As a rebirthed one, I can't be outdone by this fellow. If a conflict arises later and I, a rebirthed one, can't beat him, wouldn't that be a laughingstock? Cursing inwardly a few times, she dared not waste time and entered a cultivation state. Before long, Lu Xinghai, who was patrolling the area, inadvertently caught a glimpse of this scene. His scalp tingled and his eyelids twitched. He took a deep look, then turned and delegated the patrol tasks before immediately returning to his temporary quarters to cultivate. An hour later, Lu Xinghai began to feel mentally and physically exhausted. There was no help for it. Cultivation actually consumed mental energy and stamina. The normal way of cultivation was to cultivate, recover, cultivate again, recover again. But he was unaware that Lu Chen's sword heart of clarity talent allowed his mind to merge with the sword, entering a state of unity between man and sword. In this state, his mind was clear and transparent, constantly nourished and strengthened, completely oblivious to what fatigue was. Unfortunately, Lu Xinghai was unaware of this talent. When Lu Xinghai felt his energy waning and his mind weary, he stopped. He quietly went to a large tree and then turned his gaze toward the temporary dwellings of Lu Chen and Wen Ning. At this sight, Lu Xinghai's expression changed. What did he see? Lu Chen and Wen Ning were still cultivating. He couldn't believe his eyes. This is impossible. How can they still be cultivating? Don't they know what tiredness is? I don't believe it. They must have rested earlier. To verify his conjecture, Lu Xinghai stared fixedly at the direction of Lu Chen and Wen Ning. Half an hour passed, and Lu Xinghai frowned. An hour passed, and Lu Xinghai's eyes began to glaze over. 2 hours passed, and Lu Xinghai started to feel dazed. At dawn, Lu Xinghai stood on the tree as if turned into a statue. Finally, Lu Chen stopped his cultivation. Seeing this, Wen Ning secretly breathed a sigh of relief and also ceased her cultivation. Too terrifying. What kind of freak is this guy? Doesn't he get tired? If it weren't for the secret art of rapid mind recovery contained in the Thunder Phoenix creation scripture I cultivate, I wouldn't have been able to last this long. Damn it, at this rate will I, a rebirthed one, really be surpassed by him. Lu Chen paid no heed to Wen Ning's inner thoughts, his spirits soaring high. He cast his gaze into his fate palace, where he saw his life essence had reached an astonishing 1080 particles. Each particle of this life essence radiated a purple golden luster, each brimming with awe-inspiring power and vitality. Life essence of such purple gold quality was already the limit for most humans. Logically, Lu Chen could break through to the 8th grade at any moment. In this world, once one's innate fate phase advanced a breakthrough in cultivation level was Lu Chen's innate fate phase had already ascended to the 8th grade Tongtian Heart Monkey. With a single thought, he could refine his life essence using this 8th grade phase and step into the 8th grade life light realm. Yet Lu Chen did not do so. For him, who had fully mastered the 6th grade Mingguang sword, whether he was at the 9th or 8th grade, made little difference to his combat. What Lu Chen needed was to lay the finest foundation at the 9th grade. Moreover, his life essence could still accumulate further, having not yet reached its limit. Lu Chen resolved to wait until he had fully comprehended and perfected both breathing techniques, the White Ape Moon Worship Method and the Fire Ape Sun Worship Method, before advancing. At that moment, he would resonate with heaven and earth, causing his life essence to undergo a transformation and gain various innate traits. Then his life essence would possess qualities and essence comparable to those of the legendary chosen ones of destiny. Therefore, he was in no rush to break through. Lu Chen turned his gaze to the Fate Book. After a day and night of cultivation and insight, his techniques had advanced considerably. White Ape Moon Worship Method 5th Grade Mastery. White Ape Chasing Moon Sword 7th Grade Grand Completion. One could say he was making rapid progress. Lu Chen estimated that in at most 10 days he would fully comprehend and perfect both breathing techniques. He even had a premonition that the day he perfected these two techniques would be the day he transformed them beyond recognition and integrated them seamlessly. At that time, a sword-based breathing technique encompassing yin and yang, sun and moon, would be born from Lu Chen's hands. The June sun, like a furnace, smelted the earth. The sun blazed high in the sky, scorching and relentless. On the official road, Lu Xinghai rode his Yinlin warhorse in the middle of the convoy, looking listless and distracted. He kept glancing back each time as if struck by 1,000 blows. Crazy. Cultivating during the day. Cultivating at night too. Cultivating even under this blazing sun. What kind of monsters are those two? I feel something is off about both of them. Grumbling all the way, Lu Xinghai's grain transport team arrived before a massive canyon. Swordgate Canyon. That was the name of this canyon. This canyon was extraordinarily straight, as if carved by a blade. Legend has it that in the ancient era no canyon existed here, only a python mountain spanning east and west. At that time the southern lands were a vast wilderness occupied by demons and southern barbarians. It wasn't until the Middle Ancient era that a peerless overlord emerged among humans. Su Sangxiong, the founder of the Qian imperial court, the Qian emperor. Su Sangxiong overthrew over 100 vassal states and 13 kingdoms, unified the realm, and established the Qian imperial court. After its founding, his imperial might was supreme, forcing Middle Ancient clans and sects to submit. Under his leadership, humanity struck the dog Rhone in the north, forcing them to flee the northern wastelands and securing a millennium of peace. In the south, they defeated the demons and southern barbarians, shattering their fortunes and forcing them to hide in the 10,000 mountains where they remained fragmented. In the east, he built dragon boats to resist the sea tribes. Wherever the boats passed the seas for millions of li ran red. In the west, he opened trade routes, attracting myriad nations to pay homage. As for Swordgate Canyon, legend says the Qian emperor cleaved Python Mountain in two with a single sword strike, utterly destroying the 10,000 demon court's dragon vein. With the dragon vein's fortune broken, the demons could never unite again. In the 10,000 mountains, it is said there are 10,000 demon nations. Though ambitious tribes like the Celestial Wolf Demon Nation occasionally emerge, seeking to reclaim their ancestral lands, they have never succeeded. With a sigh, Lu Chen at the rear of the convoy exhaled a turbid breath and ceased cultivation. He fixed his gaze on the stone wall before the canyon, where 3 bold characters were carved. The moment he saw these characters, Lu Chen's sword heart clear insight activated, and he perceived a terrifying sword light and sword intent within them. This sword intent seemed to encompass endless mountains and rivers, the entire universe. It was supremely domineering. With a single strike, it could connect the divine land's cosmos, making all beings bow, changing the landscape and shattering the firmament. Alas, time had worn it down. This sword intent had existed for too long now, eroded by the ages, nearly dissipated entirely. Only a sword genius like Lu Chen, blessed with the sword heart clear insight talent, could barely connect with it. Yet this intent was too lofty, domineering, and incomplete for even him to fully comprehend. Even so, it broadened his horizons and sparked great inspiration. Just then a commotion interrupted his thoughts. He was not annoyed, knowing his foundation was still insufficient to glean much in a short time. Hey, why are you following us? Stay away. We're escorting vital resources. Who knows if there are ill-intentioned ones among you? Shoo shoo. As Lu Chen came to, he saw Su Hu, the 9th grade white banner soldier leader, driving away, a merchant convoy trailing behind. This merchant convoy numbered about 500, including guards, carriages, servants in household attire, and distinguished family disciples. Lu Chen saw at a glance that this was likely a coalition of several merchant groups. He wondered why they had banded together. Was there danger in Swordgate Canyon? As he pondered, when Ning beside him suddenly spoke. Wait. General, Swordgate Canyon often harbors beasts. I believe these are honest merchants. I'll let them follow behind. Rest assured, my husband and I will keep an eye on them. They shouldn't dare cause trouble. Su Hu hesitated at her words. Let them follow. With 6th brother and 6th sister-in-law, hear him at ease. Lu Xinghai's gritted voice came from ahead, and Su Hu relieved bowed to Lu Chen and Wen Ning an apology. Wen Ning waved dismissively. Commander Su, no need to apologize. You did nothing wrong, you were just doing your duty. I'm the one adding to your troubles. Lu Chen looked at Wen Ning oddly, knowing she wasn't one for blind compassion. As a reborn, ruthless figure, her help to these merchants surely served some old. Thank you, madam. Soon the merchant leaders came forward to express their gratitude and offered many gifts. Wen Ning accepted without hesitation, not only taking everything, but quickly engaging in conversation with them. To Lu Chen's astonishment, she soon blended in. There seemed nothing she didn't know. Treasures of the 10,000 mountains, herbs, local specialties. Lu Chen was left speechless. This is my husband Lu Chen, the biological son of the Mingzhou military governor. He is about to assume the post of town guardian of the Heihe River City, overseeing all military affairs, governance, and resources there. Would you be willing to come to Heihe River City to do business with me? Heihe River City borders the vast and untamed 10,000 mountains, where the locals often hunt, gather herbs, and mine ores. You can surely collect the resources you need there. Most importantly, if you come to Heihe River City for trade, my husband and I will guarantee your safety. Isn't that right, husband? Wen Ning, with her profound knowledge of the value sources and uses of various goods, quickly won over the caravan leaders with just a few words. Now she began to brandish borrowed authority, boasting about her background and connections. Lu Chen. He had never imagined this woman could have such a side. What? Your husband is the son of the military governor. He is about to become the town guardian of Heha River City. The caravan leaders were both shocked and astonished, but above all filled with disbelief and suspicion. Seeing this, Lu Chen gave Wen Ning a deep look, then took out his appointment letter and handed it over. Since she was putting in so much effort, he decided to grant her this face in front of outsiders. Wen Ning took the letter with a smile, then waved it before the caravan leaders. Instantly, they became more respectful, and their attitudes grew far more amicable. So you are the wife of the Heha River City town guardian. We were disrespectful earlier. We pay our respects to the town guardian and his lady. Thank you for thinking so highly of us, my lady. We need to consider this. Although the caravan leaders' attitudes had changed drastically after Wen Ning's display of influence, they showed no immediate intention of agreeing to her proposal. Wen Ning's smile froze for a moment. Seeing this, Lu Chen couldn't help but laugh out loud. These merchants were all cunning and shrewd. How could they be so Moreover, Lu Chen had already gleaned from their inner thoughts that they were well aware of his past and the situation in Heha River City. The main issue was that these people knew the business in Heha River City had long been monopolized by the local aristocratic clans and sects, leaving no room for them. Under such circumstances, how could they dare to agree to Wen Ning? Boom. Just then a thunderous crash erupted from ahead. Immediately after, a terrifying surge of killing intent and demonic aura soared into the sky. Howls of wolves echoed one after another, and the entire canyon darkened in an instant, shrouded in a dense demonic mist. We're doomed. This is the Heavenly Wolf Demon Cloud Army formation of the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom. We've fallen into an ambush. A disaster beyond our control. This is truly an unforeseen calamity. We should never have followed behind these troops. Damn it, how did the army of the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom end up here? As the demon mist spread, it was the caravan members who were the first to panic. Most of the caravan leaders were filled with regret at that moment, wishing they had never followed the army. They had clearly realized that this Heavenly Wolf force was lying in wait here, likely to ambush Lu Xinghai's grain transport convoy. Lu Chen raised his head and glanced at the caravan leaders. He noticed that although they were filled with regret, they bore no resentment towards Wen Ning. Even their inner thoughts lacked any hint of blame. This caused him to nod inwardly. These people were not ungrateful wretches after all. What surprised Lu Chen even more was that among the caravan leaders, one man had remained exceptionally composed and calm throughout the ordeal. He silently activated the Eye of Fate. Zhang Mingwen, 37 years old, Destiny Thundercloud, 5th rank. Cultivation, 7th rank. Life, Spring, Destiny Talent, Summon Wind and Rain. Can summon wind and rain, alter the weather of a region, ensuring bountiful harvests and favorable conditions. Thunder Spirit Body, Thunder Attribute Talent, 500. Sorcery Talent, Iron Law, can establish fair and strict laws, increasing governance integrity. By 80. Keen Observation, easily discern flaws from subtle details, and Red Hearts, distinguishing right from wrong and loyalty from treachery. Chief Fortune, 7th rank, 800. TSK. Seeing this information, Lu Chen couldn't help but marvel inwardly. Talent can be found everywhere. It all depends on whether you can discover it and make them submit and follow you. This Zhang Mingwen was undoubtedly a talent, even a great one. However, his background was somewhat lacking, hailing from a declining 9th rank family. His innate destiny was not poor, but his postnatal chief fortune was insufficient, leaving him at the 7th rank at 37 years old, still serving as a mere caravan leader. If such a man had been born into a great clan, his achievements would have been extraordinary. What is this cheap husband of mine staring at? Could he have also seen Zhang Mingwen's? That shouldn't be possible, right? In my past life, after Zhang Mingwen defected to Zhao Huaxian, he quickly distinguished himself and became one of Zhao Huaxian's most important ministers. It was precisely because Zhang Mingwen held the rear that Zhao Huaxian could boldly wage campaigns east and west. Under his management, not only were Zhao Huaxian's provisions never cut off, but the people also lived in peace and contentment. I was just trying to trick Zhang Mingwen into coming to Heha River City, but unfortunately, to win over such a talent without truly impressing him is far too difficult. Hearing Wen Ning's inner thoughts, Lu Chen's eyelids twitched. He had never expected Zhang Mingwen to have defected to Zhao Huaxian in his past life, nor did he realize the man possessed such administrative brilliance. It would be a great pity if he couldn't win over such a talent. Fortunately, the man was still in his obscurity. As long as Lu Chen displayed enough talent and strength, he felt he still had a great chance. With this in mind, he turned his gaze toward the demon mist surrounding them. This Heavenly Wolf army had arrived at just the right moment. In Lu Chen's eyes, they were not only delivering a bounty of chief fortune, but also providing him with a stage to perform. Clang. Without any hesitation, the 6th rank Radiant Light sword was drawn from its sheath. In an instant the sword's radiance blazed brilliantly, like a blazing sun rising. At that moment, everyone's gaze was involuntarily drawn to it. Before they could see clearly, Chen had already struck. He raised his hand and waved it lightly, and instantly thunder roared. Sword light streaked across the sky, like a great sun cutting through the darkness. Where the sword light passed, it rumbled through the air like thunder. Evil was purged, and the sword's energy thundered. In that instant, the demon mist within a 300-meter radius dissipated, as if meeting its natural enemy. The sword light, majestic and unstoppable, swept across the sky like a sun patrolling the heavens. Aya! In an instant, piercing screams echoed through the canyon. Only then did the crowd snap back to reality. A 6th-rank life-bound artifact. This is the full power of a 6th-rank life-bound artifact. Has it acknowledged him as its master? What sword technique is this? Such terrifying power, such incredible speed. Even a 6th-rank expert shouldn't be able to wield such a sword technique, right? Hiss! Wasn't it rumored that this? Ahem. How is this possible? Could all those rumors be false? They must be false. Otherwise, how could the military governor have appointed him as the town guardian of Heiha River City? At this moment, nearly everyone was stunned by Chen's effortless strike. Even when Ning, a reborn soul, was left utterly astonished. She knew that after mastering the 6th-rank radiant light sword, Chen's strength would surge, but she had never imagined it would reach such a terrifying extent. In her perception, that sword light was not only impossibly fast, but also contained an essence that shattered darkness, repelled all evil, was indestructible, and even seemed to distort time itself. This sword intent left her spellbound. You killed a Skywolf soldier. 9th rank, luck 500. You killed. 9th rank, luck 600. At the same time, streams of information surged within Chen's body, and clusters of fortune descended from the void, merging into his fate palace. There were exactly 100 of these notifications, meaning he had just slain 100 Skywolf soldiers with a single sword stroke. The luck of these soldiers was not abundant, with most hovering around 500, and occasionally some exceeding that figure. Yet, even so, the 9th rank luck Chen had harvested from that single sword stroke reached an astonishing 68500. Adding to his original 49618, his 9th rank luck once again surpassed 10000. This filled Chen with immense delight. The speed of this luck accumulation was simply exhilarating. Thus he raised his head to gaze at the demonic mist-shrouded canyon ahead, his eyes gleaming so brightly they almost emitted tangible light. Only then did Chen clearly see the appearance of these Skywolf soldiers. They all had human bodies and wolf heads with emerald eyes and silver-white fur, as if draped in moonlight. These Skywolf soldiers held demonic weapons, spewed demonic mist, and exuded a terrifying aura of slaughter and primal savagery that inspired fear. But at this moment, these Skywolf soldiers were all startled by the sudden sword stroke Chen had unleashed. Some of the Skywolf soldiers were utterly stunned, forgetting to spew their demonic mist, their mouths agape, as wisps of demonic chi swirled within. Now, seeing Chen's eyes gleaming as he looked at them, each of these Skywolf soldiers showed terror on their faces, and some simply turned and fled. But at that moment, Chen struck again. The sound of a sword's hum echoed through the canyon, and all the blades within trembled and bowed in reverence. Many guards in the merchant caravan who used swords were horrified to find their own treasured blades quivering, as if in fear or eager anticipation of someone. With sword-hard illumination in motion, Chen and the bright light sword became one. Man and sword united. Sword light, sword like a great sun patrolling the heavens, illuminating the 8 wilds. The crowd saw only a sword light, like a blazing sun, suddenly flash into the demonic mist 300 meters away. In an instant, the mist roiled, was cut apart, parted, and annihilated. Wherever the sword light passed, darkness receded. It swept across the battlefield, cleaving Skywolf soldiers in two like cutting grass. In the blink of an eye, the sword light had nearly pierced through the demonic mist. Screams, cries of terror, and curses echoed throughout the canyon. Chen's strike was so swift and astonishing that neither the humans nor the Skywolf army could react. By the time they did, only a small portion of the demonic mist remained in the canyon. The canyon was littered with the corpses of Skywolf soldiers on both sides, nearly all killed with a single blow, a terrifying sight. Some timid servants in the caravan turned pale with fear and trembled uncontrollably. Even the caravan leaders felt their eyelids twitch, seeing terror reflected in each other's eyes. Hiss! This garrison commander is truly ruthless. Those who spread the rumors deserve to die, calling such a man a waste. If he is a waste, then what are we? When Ning, hearing their murmurs, her expression was equally complex. The more she interacted with Chen, the more she found him unfathomable. Clearly in his past life his fate had been different. Could it be that, influenced by Mai and Wenwan's rebirth and marriage swap, Chen's luck has suddenly turned? But isn't this change too drastic? Could it be that I possess a fortune-bringing destiny? Whoever I marry will have their fate altered, In my past life, I married Zhao Huaixian, and he rose to prominence. In this life, I married Lu Chenso. At this moment when Ning began to doubt her own existence. Swoosh. With that thought, her body suddenly erupted with terrifying thunderfire radiance, and in a few flickers, she vanished before the eyes of the caravan leaders. Seeing this, the caravan leaders' eyelids twitched again. Clearly they were all startled by Wen Ning's sudden burst of speed and power. They had thought Wen Ning was merely a decorative vase, but now. Interesting. This Black River Town garrison commander and his wife are truly surprising. They are a perfect match. With this couple around, the Mingzhou military governor's office is bound to become lively. Behind them, Zhang Mingwen watched Wen Ning's disappearing figure, a gleam of insight flashing in his eyes, as if he had thought of something amusing. Boom. Just then a thunderous roar came from ahead, followed by the oppressive aura of a sixth-rank expert surging forward, filled with slaughter and unruly demonic qi. Many of the caravan's servants were forced to the ground by the pressure. Even the guards paled, feeling as if the air in the canyon had suddenly grown much heavier. Before anyone could adjust, an angry, murderous voice rang out from ahead. Bastard! You have killed so many of my subordinates. Oh, I will tear you limb from limb and devour your flesh. Zhang Mingwen and other experts who could barely withstand the pressure immediately used their lightness skills to dart forward. Soon they saw a silver-white banner standing proudly in the wind. Beneath it, a young man clad in white armor and a white robe stood, spear in hand. Though the youth's face was still young, an indescribable aura of sharpness pierced the heavens. Behind the youth, 500 white banner soldiers gathered, their qi interwoven into a seamless whole, as if ready to strike at any moment and pierce through. At that moment, Zhang Mingwen looked again at the banner and recognized it. It was no mere banner, but a military talisman formed through the art of war. Hiss! As expected of the Lu clan, truly a family of geniuses. At such a young age to have cultivated the art of war to this level. The Lu clan is indeed the foremost noble house of Mingzhou. It seems the fortune of Mingzhou will remain in their hands. Perhaps we should consider the proposal just made by the Black River Town garrison commander's wife. Brother Zin's words match my thoughts exactly. Black River Town is about to undergo a great change. If we pledge our allegiance now, it would be like offering fuel in snowy weather. They murmured among themselves while turning their gaze forward. There the battle raged on. In everyone's view, two figures constantly clashed, dodged, and collided, their movements so fast that the specifics were indiscernible. Sword light, demonic qi, demonic mist, and demonic fire intertwined and clashed, sending waves of energy rolling. Wherever they passed, flora withered, and the ground was coated in a layer of frost. Bang, bang, bang. In the blink of an eye, after dozens more clashes between the sword light and the silver-white afterimage, the two finally separated. Only then did the crowd see their true forms. The sword light flashed and landed before the crowd, revealing Lu Chen's figure. He held the bright light sword, his expression composed without a single scratch on his body, moving with leisure and grace. On the other side, the silver-white afterimage landed on a massive boulder, revealing the tall form of a Skywolf demon general. The Skywolf demon general was shrouded in a layer of milky white demonic fire, his expression grim and dark. He wielded a gleaming scimitar curved like a crescent moon, cold and bloodthirsty. Who exactly are you? A mere child with a humble 9th grade cultivation and a 6th grade lifebound weapon, yet you can withstand my assault. You are no ordinary nobody. Speak your name, for my crescent blade does not slay the nameless. The celestial wolf demon general ignored the others, his focus almost entirely fixed on Lu. He had no choice. After their brief exchange, he already knew the terror of Lu Chen. No matter what technique, innate ability, or secret art, he unleashed, Lu Chen shattered it with a single sword strike. Lu Chen's mastery over the sword and his control of power had reached an unfathomable level. What chilled the celestial wolf demon general even more was Lu Chen's perception. Whenever a technique was used a second time, Lu Chen could easily discern its flaw and break it with effortless grace. Several times the celestial wolf demon general came close to being slain. Even more terrifying as the battle dragged on, Lu Chen's swordplay grew increasingly eerie and razor-sharp. It was as if his opponent was surging forward in the midst of combat, constantly evolving. This rate of progress filled the celestial wolf demon general with both envy and a murderous intent. Moreover, Lu Chen had slaughtered all his underlings, leaving him no face to return to the celestial wolf demon kingdom. He had to kill Lu Chen today. Only then could he return to the celestial wolf demon kingdom without punishment. Damn, Huang Kun, didn't he say this grain convoy had Lu Mingyuan's useless? Where is Lu Mingyuan's useless son? Instead, this killing star appears. Lu Chen initially paid no heed to the celestial wolf demon general, but upon hearing his thoughts, a surge of killing intent flared in his eyes. Huang Kun, the ancestor of the 7th rank Huang family in Hehe City. In that moment, Lu Chen finally understood why this celestial wolf army. So the Huang family of Hehe City had colluded with the celestial wolf demon kingdom. No, It was definitely not just the Huang family. In recent years, these families and sects near the 10,000 mountains had grown wealthy and risen rapidly through trade with the celestial wolf demon kingdom and the barbarian tribes. The Huang family of Heihe City was one such example. Now with the celestial wolf demon kingdom's invasion looming, these families and sects would do anything to protect their interests. Of course, with Lu Mingyuan and Mingzhou, these families dared not openly collude with the foreign races, but secretly selling information and using outsiders to eliminate rivals. They would certainly dare. As long as they left no evidence, even Lu Mingyuan could do nothing to them. Though Mingzhou was ostensibly under Lu Mingyuan's control, it was actually co-governed by the Lu family and numerous other families and sects sharing its destiny. The Lu family merely held the lion's share. Thus, without irrefutable proof and a valid pretext, even Lu Mingyuan could not arbitrarily massacre other families and sects. At this thought, Lu Chen's killing intent swelled. In any world, when great families controlled resources, ordinary people were left to be butchered. These great families were surely a cancer and obstacle to civilization's progress. Alas, humans are emotional beings. As long as there are feelings, kinship, and desires, families will always exist. Cut down one crop, and another soon sprouts. Even in Lu Chen's past life, after countless sacrifices brought a new dawn, within mere decades families, conglomerates, and bureaucratic interest groups emerged anew. This was an almost unsolvable problem. Lu Chen certainly could not solve it. The only solution he could think of was kill. As for these great families, dragging out and slaughtering a large number of those who erred could resolve most issues and conflicts. Lu Mingyuan dared not kill them, but that did not mean Lu Chen dared not. After all, if the sky fell, Lu Mingyuan would hold it up. What did he have to fear? However, Lu Chen's immediate task was to slay this celestial wolf demon general. In his eyes, this celestial wolf demon general was a resource providing him with abundant destiny. Die. Without further words, Lu Chen struck again, and this time he would unleash his full power. Unity of man and sword. Sword light traversed 300 meters in all directions, appearing and vanishing without trace, elusive and ghostly. One breath before the celestial wolf demon general, the next behind him. Bastard. You seek death. Seeing that Lu Chen not only ignored his question, but directly attacked, the celestial wolf demon general ground his teeth in rage, fury blazing like wildfire. With a thunderous roar, the celestial wolf demon general erupted in full fury, demonic fire blazing from his body, his crescent blade awakening like a waning moon, tearing through the void, freezing all things. Lu Chen's sword light shone like a majestic sun, while the celestial wolf demon general's blade was like a cold, waning moon. As they clashed, there was a fleeting sense of sun and moon alternating, shining together. As a commander of 1,000 demon soldiers, the celestial wolf demon general not only possessed a 6th grade cultivation, but also wielded a 6th grade. Thus, despite Lu Chen's extraordinary sword talent and the blessing of sword heart clarity, he could not immediately overcome the celestial wolf demon general. Yet as the battle continued, Lu Chen's sword heart clarity gradually perceived all of the celestial wolf demon general's attacks, leaving him almost out of tricks in Lu Chen's eyes. Therefore, he was in no hurry to risk his life, instead using the celestial wolf demon general to hone his own sword art. With each exchange, Lu Chen's understanding of the white ape moon-chasing sword deepened. Through combat with the celestial wolf demon general, his insight into the moon and the Great Kang principle grew. He even deduced a new sword technique during the fight, waning moon obscure sword. This technique mimicked the dim veiled emergence of the early crescent moon, an interplay of light and darkness. Lu Chen had not expected to create such a sword art in battle. It seemed he had underestimated his own sword talent. The moment Lu Chen fully created waning moon obscure sword, his white ape moon chasing sword also attained complete mastery. Instantly, a fearsome resonance surged from within him. Simultaneously, his sword talents, sword heart clarity, and 10,000 swords returned to one, activated automatically. In that instant, light and darkness, sun and moon, yin and yang, two kinds of sword light alternated within Lu Chen's body, continuously merging and unifying. Sword 2 sunset crescent rises. As if by instinct, the sword light Lu Chen became tore through the sky, like a sun traversing the heavens. Within this radiance, 3 phenomena, sunrise, noon, and sunset, intertwined and evolved. Where the sword light passed, it gave a sense of time warped and inverted. This strike caught the celestial wolf demon general off guard. His vision and senses were momentarily disrupted, as if time itself had paused. By the time the celestial wolf demon general reacted, he saw the glorious sunlight, sword light suddenly turned dim and lifeless, and his vision darkened in that instant. A waning moon emerged from the darkness, interwoven with the gloom, cutting through the void and piercing his brow in an instant. Excellent sword art. I am dead. The celestial wolf demon general's body fell slowly to the ground, his eyes wide open, reflecting a look of profound disbelief mixed with a trace of admiration and awe. The canyon fell into a brief, deathly silence. Everyone stared blankly at the fallen corpse of the 6th grade celestial wolf demon general, unable to snap out of their stupor for a long time. This was a 6th grade expert, a powerhouse capable of founding a lower 3rd grade aristocratic clan. And yet such a figure had been killed just like what was more, his killer was merely a 9th grade dust fate cultivator. This defies heaven. Has my cheap husband taken some kind of pill in this life? Why does he feel even more formidable than me, a reborn one? If that bitch when one saw this, she would surely regret it. No, once I reach Heha City, I must hurry to the Great Feng Imperial Tomb to seize resources and fortune. Otherwise I truly won't be able to defeat him. Wen Ning stared at Lu Chun, who was completely unscathed, and as calm as the breeze, her heart in turmoil. She had thought that marrying this man in place of her sister meant she was stuck with a worthless waste, but now, a waste would have been ideal. With her abilities, she could easily handle him. If Lu Chun obeyed, she would use him as a puppet to support her ambitions. If he didn't comply, she would find a way to keep the child and discard the father. But now when Ning suddenly realized her plans were crumbling, she felt that if she didn't strive harder, she might become the burden, the one being manipulated. How could this be? She swore that in this life, she would never become a man's appendage. She had to live her own life. Beside her, Lu Xinghai stared blankly at the corpse of the celestial wolf demon general, then at the blood-soaked corpse-strewn canyon. The corners of his mouth, terrifying. I thought I was the most ruthless killer among the younger generation of the Lu clan. But it seems this 6th cousin is even more bloodthirsty than I am. Beside her, Lu Xinghai stared blankly at the corpse of the celestial wolf demon general, then at the blood-soaked corpse-strewn canyon. The corners of his mouth. He's a monster. I've never feared or submitted to anyone among the younger Lu clan members, but now. Damn it, he's supposed to be the legendary waste. Lu Xinghai, you must rise up. Don't fear him, don't submit to him. Lu Chun listened to the relentless stream of thoughts pounding in his ears, feeling his scalp prickle. Clamorous. Far too clamorous. Lu Chun quickly ceased the operation of mind reading and turned his gaze to the fate book, focusing on the fortune column. Fortune 9th grade 3568916. Hiss. The moment he saw the fortune value, Lu Chun couldn't help but draw a sharp breath. Over 3.5 million units of fortune. This was the first time he had ever seen so much. If converted to 4th grade fortune, that would amount to 30. Previously, the most fortune Lu Chun had ever received was 2 cups of 4th grade fortune bestowed by his cheap father, the military governor, Lu Mingyuan. And now he had gained over 30 cups from a single battle. It seemed that no matter the world, the fastest way to wealth was still through slaughter and plunder, overt or seeing such a massive fortune from one battle. Lu Chun yearned to charge into the 10,000 mountains and ravage all the barbarian and demon tribes. Taking a deep, he forcibly suppressed the urge to let his lips curl into a smile, then shifted his gaze away from the fate book. His eyes fell upon the corpses of the celestial wolf demons in the canyon, especially their weapons. He was about to assume the role of Heha City's guardian, and he would no longer be a lone operative. These weapons would prove quite useful to him. General Lu. Lu Chen finally decided to ask Lu Xinghai for help in handling the corpses and collecting the spoils of war. But the moment he spoke, he saw Lu Xinghai's ears turn red and his expression became extremely awkward. Lu Xinghai waved his hand somewhat sheepishly. No. 6th brother, from now on, just call me Xinghai. You are the guardian of Heha City, and in the city from now on I'll be following your orders, 6th brother. Lu Chen looked at the youth with a strange expression, wondering if he had taken the wrong medicine. Earlier, when Lu Chen addressed him by his full name, this fellow had sulked and refused to respond. Now, TSK. Humans truly are creatures that worship strength. With this thought, Lu Chen turned his gaze to the White Banner soldiers. He noticed a significant change in their attitude toward him. Previously, though polite, there had been no fear or respect in their eyes. But now, Lu Chen looked at the merchant leaders, who immediately forced fawning smiles on. This attitude was a far cry from before. Even Zhang Mingwen's gaze toward Lu Chen had changed. It now held a hint of assessment, calculation, and interest. Xinghai, please help me deal with the spoils of war. Is that all right? Lu Chen withdrew his gaze thoughtfully, gaining a deeper understanding of human nature and the human heart. No problem. Rest assured, 6th brother. Lu Xinghai had now returned to his usual arrogant and unruly demeanor. But Lu Chen could still perceive the joy in his heart. This perception struck Lu Chen as both amusing and intriguing. He glanced at the white-robed youth before shifting his gaze and walking toward Wen Ning. My lady, didn't you want to go into business? How are you all feeling about it now? You can rest assured now. In Heha City, as long as my lady and I are here, we guarantee that if you operate normally, no one will dare to trouble you. Lu Chen took Wen Ning's stiff hand and approached the merchant leaders, speaking with a gentle smile. At the sight of his smile, the merchant leaders' own smiles froze, their expressions a mixture of embarrassment and fear. Especially with the celestial wolf demon corpses scattered all around, reflecting on their recent actions, sent chills down their spines. This young man with his pleasant and friendly smile was clearly a ruthless killer who wouldn't bat an eye. Haha, my lady, we've made up our minds. We are willing to cooperate with you in business. That's right. You and your husband are exceptionally gifted with boundless futures ahead. We thank you both for giving us this opportunity to join. We are willing to go through fire and water for you both, sparing no effort. When Ning thought these people changed their faces too quickly, she tried to pull her hand free from the grip of that big pig's trotter, but found she couldn't. She turned to look at Lu Chun, who was smiling at her warmly. Damn it! How can a man have such a captivating smile? When Ning shot Lu Chun a fierce glare, before quickly turning back to the merchant leaders. Gentlemen, I plan to establish a trading company in Heya City. From now on you can store your goods in my company, and I guarantee their safety. Of course the company will take a certain profit share as compensation. We will also purchase large quantities of barbarian specialties and treasures, and you can source goods from us. Any member who joins the company will enjoy preferential pricing on goods. Lu Chun gazed at Wen Ning, who was speaking with fervor and eloquence, a peculiar expression on his face. He had not anticipated that the platform Wen Ning intended to create was one for selling and delivering goods. What left him even more speechless was that upon hearing her plan, he instantly recognized it as a scheme to achieve something from nothing. As an unfavored, illegitimate son of the military governor's mansion, Lu Chen did not possess much wealth. Wen Ning, likewise an illegitimate daughter of the Wen clan, was equally lacking in funds. No wonder the caravan leaders had previously been unwilling to cooperate with her. These individuals were far too shrewd. They understood Wen Ning's intentions the moment they heard them. Previously they had deemed Wen Ning's ideas fantastical, believing she could not guarantee their safety. But now, the caravan leaders cast a glance at Lu Chun, who stood silently to the side, and found themselves unable to utter a refusal. Besides, to whom they sold their goods mattered little. Under Wen Ning's proposal, they could still turn a profit. Though their earnings might be slightly less than before, it was far safer. After listening for a while, Lu Chun grew bored. In both his past and present lives, he had never taken a liking to commerce. In his former life, he had been the beast of burden, who in this one he needed only to control those who served him. Thus he allowed Wen Ning to do as she pleased. After all, she possessed an ancient tomb, making her a veritable heiress of immense wealth. He had no fear of her incurring losses. Lu Chun was curious to see what she would ultimately conjure. He turned his gaze to Zhang Mingwen, and catching the man's somewhat bewildered expression, spoke. Master Zhang, may I have a word in private? I have a matter to discuss with you. Zhang Mingwen regarded him thoughtfully before nodding in agreement. Shortly thereafter the two departed from the group and arrived beneath a nearby cliff. What does he want with Zhang Mingwen? Could he truly have discerned Zhang Mingwen's talents? That seems impossible. He only met Zhang Mingwen today, they haven't even exchanged a single word. Could this man possess the acumen of a wise ruler capable of recognizing hidden talent? No way. No way. Wen Ning sensed Lu Chun release her hand and witnessed a scene that left her utterly astonished. She could not fathom how Lu Chun had managed to form a connection with Zhang Mingwen. Master, I am about to assume the post of town guardian of Heya City. I am in need of a scribe to assist with administrative affairs. Would you be willing to accept this position? Once they reached the stone wall, Lu Chun did not waste time on. Heya City was but a small town equivalent to a county in Lu Chen's previous life. However, in this world, vast tracts of wilderness in the southwest remained undeveloped, teeming with demonic beasts and ferocious creatures, making survival for ordinary people nearly impossible. Consequently, the human inhabitants of the southwestern regions dwelled within fortified cities. This was especially true for places like Heya City and Leiyun City, which bordered the untamed wilderness of the 100,000 Mountains. Though the position of scribe was not high in rank, it was a role reserved for the trusted confidants of a city's ruler. A capable scribe could influence the city's decrees and oversee the officials of the 6 departments. Thus, by offering Zhang Mingwen the position of scribe, Lu Chun had shown him considerable regard. He had no choice. As the guardian of a small city, this was the only bargaining chip he possessed. Zhang Mingwen was rendered speechless. He had not expected Lu Chun to approach him for this purpose, nor with such directness. This left him both bewildered. He could not understand what had caught Lu Chen's eye. He was certain he had done nothing out of the ordinary. After a moment's deliberation, Zhang Mingwen shook his head and replied, My lord, I am merely a junior member of the Zhang clan's collateral branch, a minor 9th-rank family from Qingjiang City. I know only of commerce, while I am utterly unversed in administrative affairs. I am grateful for your esteemed regard, but my abilities are limited. Please forgive me, my lord, for I cannot accept the position of your scribe. Upon hearing Zhang Mingwen's response, Lu Chen's expression remained calm, though his eyes dimmed slightly. Though he had anticipated the possibility of rejection, the sting of being turned down on his first attempt to recruit someone still weighed on his heart. Indeed, he possessed no aura of kingly dominance. It was said that in this world those blessed with exceptional innate destinies and fortunes exuded an air of authority and trustworthiness from birth. Such individuals stood out wherever they went, effortlessly attracting heroes and talents simply by displaying their abilities. Lu Chen could not help but feel a pang of envy toward them. Ah, this man's talents and aptitude are indeed quite remarkable at present. Unfortunately, his innate destiny is poor and his later fortune is equally mediocre. As an unfavored, illegitimate son of the military governor's mansion, his foundation is far too shallow. Though the military governor's mansion appears prosperous, it is fraught with peril. If it cannot swiftly repel the invading forces from all sides, any unforeseen incident could plunge the mansion into utter ruin once its fortune is depleted. My Zhang clan is but a lowly minor family of the lowest rank. I dare not embroil myself in the power struggles of the military governor's mansion. Moreover, Heiha City now borders the untamed wilderness of the 100,000 mountains. It could fall at any moment. I have elders to care for and children to raise. I cannot afford to take risks. If I were to perish, what would become of my wife, children, and elderly mother? What a pity. I wonder if I shall ever have the chance to put my skills to use. Lu Chen fell silent upon hearing Zhang Mingwen's inner thoughts. In the end, he cast a regretful glance at Zhang Mingwen and said, "Very well, I understand your intent. What a shame. I am well aware of your abilities, Master. What a pity. Master Zhang, my door is always open to you. Should you have a change of heart and wish to realize your ambitions, do not hesitate to seek me out. There will always be a place for you here." Lu Chen was not one to pester. He was no tyrant, nor could he bring himself to destroy what he could not obtain. "Thank you for your understanding, my lord. I am deeply grateful for your esteemed regard. My lord, your magnanimity encompasses the sun and moon, your heart embraces heaven and earth. I believe that one day, my lord, you will rise from the depths, remaining silent until the moment you astonish the world." Zhang Mingwen, seeing that Lu Chen had let him go so easily, felt both surprised gratitude and a faint trace of regret. If only I had met my lord in my youth. Shortly thereafter, Lu Xinghai led his men to gather Lu Chen's spoils of war, and the group resumed their journey. Astride the Yanlin steed, Lu Chen's emotions had settled. He turned his attention to the Book of Fate, determined to convert his fortune into strength as swiftly. With the Book of Fate in his possession, he would never lack fortune in the future. Elevate my innate destiny to the 7th rank. Lu Chen had long since decided his first priority was to enhance his innate destiny. In this world, innate destiny and fortune were always paramount. 9 rank fortune, 500000. Boom. Instantly, a surge of terrifying power flooded into Lu Chen's innate destiny, beginning to transform and nurture it. Simultaneously, his soul and body underwent changes, evolving toward a higher plane of existence. Innate destiny, Tongtian heart, ape 7th rank, 500 destiny talent, 1 agility, 200. Perception, 200 destiny talent, 2 mind reading destiny talent, 3 spirit communication, enables communication with all living beings to gather information destiny talent, 4 purification of the heart, cleanses the dust of the mind, clarifies the true self, brings tranquility, and enhances insight. Buzz. As his innate fate phase ascended from the 8th rank to the 7th, Lu Chen immediately perceived that his connection to heaven and earth had grown more ethereal and lucid. All anxieties, unease, fears, terrors, and greed within his heart were swept clean. I have a luminous pearl long shrouded in worldly dust. Today the dust clears, light shines forth, illuminating mountains and rivers. In that moment, Lu Chen truly felt his heart purified, radiating a resplendent brilliance. His thoughts and spiritual will seem to shatter countless shackles, reborn as if in an infant state. With every breath, he harmonized with heaven and earth. An ancient Taoist scripture says, "Can one concentrate the breath and achieve softness like an infant?" Now Lu Chen embodied this state. Rumble. At this instant, his perception of all energies in heaven and earth reached an intimate affinity. Even in broad daylight, Lu Chen sensed the presence of moonlight essence. He gathered both sunlight and moonlight simultaneously. In his destiny palace, these two energies did not conflict, but merged in harmony, interweaving and transforming like sun and moon shining together. Lu Chen activated both the Fire Ape Sun worship method and White Ape Moon worship method, breathing techniques intertwining them as if by instinct. His understanding of these two breathing techniques soared, grasping their essence at a deeper level. Soon he comprehended both techniques to perfection, entering a state that resonated with heaven and earth, reflecting the sun and moon. In this state, Lu Chen's life essence visibly surged, while his insight into sun, moon, yin, and yang advanced rapidly. After 60 breaths, this state ceased. Lu Chen gazed into his destiny palace, finding it transformed beyond recognition. His life essence increased from 1080 grains to 3,600, its color shifting from purple gold to an interweaving of black and white. Light and dark alternated, sun and moon shone together, yin and yang revolved, creation was boundless. Each grain of this sun-moon life essence was 10 times larger than before, containing exponentially more energy, vitality, and technique essence. At this moment, Lu Chen confirmed that both breathing techniques had reached perfection, granting him powerful sun, moon, yin, and yang attributes. Moreover, he had fused these techniques and integrated basic sword forms, creating a new breathing method. Sun-Moon Rotation Method. 4th rank perfect self-created attributes. Sun-Moon Body Harvest. Sun and Moon Essence opens Sun-Moon Meridians, manifests light-dark alternation, and Sun-Moon Phenomena amplifies all attributes by 10 times. Creation embodies Sun-Moon Creation Essence, immune to poisons, aids healing. Sun-Moon Resonance harvests Sun and Moon Essence 10 times faster. Boom. With his life essence transformed, Lu Chen began his breakthrough with the 7th rank Innate Fate phase. Heavenheart Ape roared in his Destiny Palace, devouring the void as if to swallow the cosmos. All life essence was consumed and refined by the Heavenheart Ape. In an instant, wisps of black and white life radiance emerged from its mouth. As this radiance appeared in his Destiny Palace, phenomena of Sun-Moon unity, light-dark alternation, and yin-yang rotation arose. At this moment, the void around Lu Chen dimmed and the air froze. His body radiated black and white light with sun and moon phantoms rising behind him. This is when Ning was the first to notice Lu Chen's change. Her eyes widened at the phenomena of sun and moon shining together. Life radiance. He's broken through to the 8th rank life radiance realm. What breathing technique is this with such powerful sun-moon essence and phenomena? I heard Lu Mingyuan inherited part of the ancient Candle Dragon Emperor Court's legacy. Did he teach Lu Chen the Candle Dragon sun-moon diagram? I heard Lu Mingyuan inherited part of the ancient Candle Dragon Emperor Court's legacy. Did he teach Lu Chen the Candle Dragon? Has Lu Chen found a great opportunity? This shouldn't be. Forget it, it'll protect him first. Boom. While pondering, when Ning unleashed a barrier of thunderfire life radiance to conceal Lu Chen's phenomena. Her commotion drew everyone's attention, but they only saw a massive thunderfire barrier, nothing unusual. Curious, no one dared to disturb them. Yet their gazes toward when Ning now held more awe. Her ability to conjure such a barrier and control thunderfire defied most expectations. Ignoring the stares, when Ning stared at Lu Chen within the barrier, stunned. In her perception, he devoured sunlight and moonlight like a glutton. In mere moments, Lu Chen was enveloped in black and white radiance. Meridians like black and white dragons pierced his limbs, organs, and entire body. He instantly opened all meridians, ascending to the 8th rank perfection. This shocked Wen Ning. The 8th rank life radiance realm required not only converting life essence into radiance, but also opening all meridians to bridge the destiny path. Thus, advancing from the 8th rank to perfection demanded immense time, resources, and potential. Even when Ning, a rebirth with past life experience, had only opened limb meridians. Yet now what did she witness? Lu Chen, before her eyes, broke through to 8th rank perfection without any pills, herbs, or resources. Such an incredible feat only occurred with peerless prodigies, those with supreme innate fate phases. Yet now she saw this in Lu Chen, whose fate phase was similar to hers. Why? Why? My fate phase and his are on par, and our resources are similar. But I have past life experience, and my technique, Thunder Phoenix creation scripture, is far beyond 1st rank. I broke through to 8th rank before him, yet now I won't accept this. Lu Chen, having just finished cultivation and activated his mind reading, he was inundated by Wen Ning's inner screams and noise. Startled, he quickly deactivated mind reading and cast heart purification on her. Instantly, his ears were at peace. You? Wen Ning, seeing him send a divine light into her body, became alert and furious. But as she spoke, she felt an immense joy, ease, and freedom deep within her heart. At this moment, no one could see how all the resentment, emotional knots, discontent, and hatred within Wen Ning's heart seemed to be pierced and swept away like endless shackles. A light of profound enlightenment and clarity blossomed from her heart. In this moment, her thoughts and spiritual mind were more active than ever before. Her understanding of the arts and control over power advanced by leaps and bounds. A tear fell from the corner of her eye. Wen Ning felt as if she had been reborn, sensing the various forms of elemental energy in the world gravitating toward her. It was as if she had returned to her mother's embrace. With each breath, her breathing technique operated automatically, and streams of life radiance continuously emerged from her life palace. This state was truly unimaginable, her mind unburdened, flowing naturally in harmony with heaven and earth. Wen Ning's aura surged at a visibly rapid pace, and soon veins imbued with the vibrant essence of thunder and fire were being connected within her. In this moment, she finally understood how Lu Chen could break through from the 8th grade realm to the completion of the 8th grade realm in such a short time. What kind of ability does this guy possess? This is truly inconceivable. If it weren't for the innate fate limiting my potential, I feel that before long I could restore my cultivation from my past life. Wen Ning's heart was utterly shocked at this moment. Even though she was a reborn individual, she had never seen such a terrifying ability. This ability allows one to perceive the essence of their heart, achieving mental clarity as if being reforged, returning to an innate infant state. In this state, the understanding, cultivation, aptitude, and potential of living beings would be developed to their utmost. Yet this ability does not distort the human heart, nor does it change one's worldview or memories. Wen Ning still remembered everything from her past life, harboring both hatred and resentment towards her enemies along with various desires and negative emotions. However, in this state, those negative emotions could no longer affect her. She was the master of her own mind. Unfortunately, this state would eventually be clouded again with the passage of time. According to my estimation, this state can last at most about 10 days. The less firm the mind, and the shorter the duration of this state. The most regrettable aspect is that this ability cannot break through the limitations of innate fate. Just like me, I could clearly break through to the 7th grade realm, but my innate fate is only at the 8th grade. Therefore, no matter how excellent my comprehension of the arts is, I cannot surpass the limitations of innate fate to break through to the 7th grade realm. Fortunately, we are nearing Heiha City. Once I acquire the resources from the ancient tomb, my fortune will surely soar. Lu Chen. He listened to Wen Ning's inner voice and finally gained a clear understanding of his newly awakened purity of heart talent. This talent can help one achieve clarity and enlightenment in a short time, thus unlocking their potential. However, in this world, the potential of living beings is restricted by innate fate. His purity of heart talent also cannot break through the limitations of innate fate. This made Lu Chen feel a bit regretful. If only this world did not have the restrictions of innate fate, with this purity of heart talent, he could cultivate talents and experts in bulk. In this world, indeed, luck is the most important. Only luck can alter innate fate, breaking through a person's limits and potential. Of course, Lu Chen's purity of heart talent is also incredibly formidable, capable of unlocking a person's potential to the utmost. Hey! Just as Lu Chen was contemplating his newly awakened innate talent, a voice suddenly startled him awake. He looked up and immediately saw Wen Ning gazing. Her exquisite face exhibited a complex expression: gratitude, joy, shock, curiosity, and a questing gaze. Her current aura was even more outstanding, her eyes brighter and deeper. She possessed a certain youthful vitality and vigor, yet also the wisdom and intellectual beauty of having witnessed the myriad affairs of the world. After assessing Wen Ning several times, Lu Chen withdrew his gaze, saying, "No need to thank me. You saved me on the wedding night, and now protect me. I naturally owe you this favor. Besides, we are now husband and wife, our fortunes intertwined, rising or falling together. It's only natural to help each other out. Remember, I don't go by hey. Next time, please use a proper address when speaking to me, madam. Otherwise, I won't respond." With that, Lu Chen waved his hand. Black and white brilliance surged forth, and the illusory images of the sun and moon appeared behind him, instantly shattering Wen Ning's thunderfire barrier. With those words, Lu Chen mounted his flame unicorn and rode away. "Wen Ning, that dog man is so petty. If you want me to call you husband, I want. From now on, I'll just use your name just to annoy you." Ah, damn it, I didn't even get the chance to inquire about his ability. She looked at Lu Chen's receding figure, muttering to herself, then showed a strange smile as she hurried to catch up. Outside Heiha City. After a day and night of traveling over mountains and rivers, Lu Chen and his party finally arrived at the territory of Heiha City. Lu Chen and the others stood at a small hillock, immediately seeing a vast plain landscape unfolding before them. In the center of the plain, a massive city loomed. The city was grand and towering, resembling a ferocious beast, dominating and suppressing the surroundings. Within the city, rows of ancient-style buildings were lined up, varying in height. In some areas, towering buildings shone bright and resplendent, exuding solemnity and majesty, while in others, dilapidated structures with low thatched earthen walls stood. Even outside the city, there were clusters of slums. A mighty river twisted and turned through the plains, splitting the wild terrain in two. This is the Black River. This river flows through Heiha City, where merchant ships continuously travel back and forth, and hundreds of laborers gather at the docks, creating a scene of bustling activity. The plain had been thoroughly developed, with countless ragged and emaciated poor people toiling and farming within it. Behind the countless poor, there were fierce-looking overseers wielding whips, glaring down like monstrous creatures. Lu Chen looked at the plain, his eye of fate operating automatically, revealing a hint of mockery and murderous intent on his face. In his vision, the fortune of Heiha City seemed to be almost entirely concentrated in the areas with grand and prosperous buildings. Those places occupied more than 80 of the city's fortune, while the governor's residence, representing the ruling authority, had not even 20. As for the slum areas, they were shrouded in black clouds. Upon seeing these black clouds, Lu Chen witnessed countless deaths, resentment, misfortune, and chaos. The rich feast while the poor freeze to death. This was the true depiction of this city. The common folk who produced fortune were nearly starving, freezing, or being killed every day. Meanwhile, those families and sects that did not produce seized the majority of resources and fortune, thus controlling the life and death of the masses riding high above. This was indeed a profound irony. A month later, at the drill ground of the Heha Town Guardian's mansion. In the early morning, Lu Chen watched the 110 youths below, who were constantly breathing in the essence of the sun and moon, and nodded to himself in approval. These youths, mostly just 13 or 14 years old, were clad in dark armor and held long swords. Activating the Eye of Fate, Lu Chen could clearly see streams of fortune flowing from the crowns of these youths, every moment surging into his own palace of destiny. He could also see that the fortune within these youths' palaces of destiny was paying homage to him, and he could even directly manipulate their fortune. Seeing this, a glimmer of joy flashed in Lu Chen's eyes. For this situation could only mean one thing: these youths were now completely loyal to him. This was a conclusion Lu Chen had reached through extensive research on fortune and the mind-reading art. Any being loyal to Lu Chen would have their fortune bow and converge towards him. Those who were not loyal to him would have their fortune remain neutral or in a state of rejection. Therefore, by observing the state of these youths' fortune, Lu Chen could discern their stance at a glance, even without using the mind-reading art. Of course, Lu Chen was not particularly surprised by the loyalty and stance of these youths. These were the trusted guards and specially talented individuals he had meticulously selected and trained over the past month from Heha City. A month ago, upon arriving in Heha City, Lu Chen discovered that everything within the city was controlled by the local aristocratic families and sects. He faced a very awkward situation. He had no one to rely on. Therefore, after assuming the post of guardian of Heha City, besides roaming the city daily to gather information, Lu Chen's main task was to find and train these 110 trusted individuals. It wasn't that he didn't want to train more, but training talent in this world consumed immense resources and fortune. These youths were all from commoner backgrounds. They had no fortune, no resources, and no aptitude. Their innate destinies were worthless. Most didn't even possess a 9th rank innate destiny. To train these 110 youths, Lu Chen had spent over 1 million units of 9th rank fortune in this past month. Of course, the gains were also very evident. The innate destinies of all these youths had been elevated to the 8th rank, and their cultivation levels were also at the 8th rank. Moreover, these youths were all talented individuals with special gifts that Lu Chen had selected from among the many children in the slums. Through the mind-cleansing art, in just 1 month, nearly every one of these youths had their talents and potential developed to the extreme. Now each of these 110 youths could be considered a capable talent. Of course, Lu Chen's gains were far from limited to this. Book of Fate owner Lu Chen. Innate Destiny Heart Connecting Heaven Ape 7th rank 050000. Cultivation 7th rank Life Spring. Sword Dao Talent 6th rank 010000. 10,000 swords return to 1. Easily perceive the laws of the sword. Seek common ground while reserving differences and integrate 10,000 sword techniques into 1. Sword Heart Illumination. First, when cultivating sword type techniques, comprehension 600, attack 600. Second, the sword heart is transparent, unaffected by external sounds and sights, breaking illusions and perceiving the minutest detail. Third, communicate with the sword with a high probability of obtaining the sword master's insights on the sword path. Heaven's sword. Observe the myriad phenomena of heaven and earth. Achieve unity of heaven and man. Emulate heaven and earth. Learn from nature. All things in heaven and earth can be used as a sword. Art of War Spirit Snake Art 9th rank Perfection 0100. Trait Agility 20. Sun Moon Spirit Sword Art 7th rank Perfection 0100. Traits Agility 100, Chi Breaking 100, Recovery 100, Critical Strike 100. Skill Teach by Personal Example 7th rank 00. Trait: when the book owner imparts knowledge or skills, the listener's comprehension 100, Focus 100. The book owner receives all insights and feedback from the listeners. Fortune 9th rank 796388. These figures represented Lu Chen's changes over the past month. Originally, he had obtained over 3 million units of 9th rank fortune at the Sword Gate Canyon. Promoting his innate destiny to the 7th rank cost 5,000. Promoting his sword Dao talent cost 1,000. Training talents cost over 1,000. Plus, deducing and modifying the arts of war, upgrading the teach by personal example skill, and other things consumed some fortune as well. Of course, after Lu Chen became the guardian, his daily fortune also increased. The rule of this world was that power brought fortune. However, since most of Heha City's fortune was taken by the aristocratic family sects and the governor's mansion, his daily increase in fortune was not much. Nevertheless, starting today, Lu Chen's days of reaping rewards were about to begin. He had lain low in Heha City for a month, and now it was time to test the results. But before testing the results, Lu Chen needed to first blood these youths. Fallen. Formation. Rumble. As a sword-shaped military tally of the sun and moon emerged from the top of Lu Chen's head, an invisible life force field instantly enveloped all the life essence within the bodies of all the youths surged uncontrollably, and then under Lu Chen's control their life essences were completely fused into one. In an instant, a black and white sword light, like a dragon or snake, tore through the void and vanished in the blink of an eye. silent and invisible, appearing and disappearing mysteriously. The drill ground fell into a dead silence, as if everything that had just happened was merely a dream. Wild Boar Forest. This was a primeval, ancient forest located south of Heha City, overrun with wild boar beasts. These wild boar beasts often charged out of the forest in herds, destroying crops and killing humans. Every year, many commoners were killed by these wild boar beasts. The 100,000 mu of spirit-infused land outside the wild boar forest had become a wasteland with no one daring to farm it. If this 100,000 mu of spirit-infused land were cultivated by humans, it could generate at least 10 million units of 9th-rank fortune and resources annually. Yet such a treasure land had now become a wasteland. Experts from Heha City's aristocratic families and sects had once come to hunt the beasts, but they all returned in failure, even suffering heavy losses. Since then, no one had dared to come and reclaim this land. Today, however, it finally welcomed new visitors. Whoosh! A black and white sword light suddenly leaped from the distant void. This sword light seemed to travel and leap through the void like a dragon or serpent. Its speed was unimaginably fast. In one breath it was 1,000 meters away, and in the next it had crossed that distance and arrived nearby. The black and white sword light flickered and leaped through the void a few times before landing on the wasteland before the wild boar forest. As the black and white sword light landed, over 100 figures, including Lu Chen, instantly appeared. Oink oink. Snort snort. The appearance of Lu Chen and the others immediately startled the wild boar beasts foraging in the wasteland. However, these wild boar beasts soon realized that the newcomers were merely two-legged beasts. They quickly calmed down and began charging madly towards Lu Chen. Rumble. It was like 1,000 horses stampeding. The very earth trembled. These wild boar beasts were not only numerous, but also enormous in size. To every adult wild boar beast was as large as an adult elephant from Lu Chen's past life. Kill. Lu Chen faced the overwhelming onslaught of wild boar beasts, his expression unchanging as he uttered a single word with a blank face. Clang, clang, clang. The moment his voice faded, the sound of swords being drawn echoed all around. Immediately after, streaks of sword light flashed across the sky, crisscrossing with unparalleled sharpness. These youths fought in pairs. One wielded a sword light blazing like fire, embodying the majestic and upright truth that annihilates evil. The other's sword light was as cold as ice, containing the intent to freeze the void and solidify thoughts and souls. The two types of sword light surged, intertwining in the air, manifesting visions of light and dark, alternating, the sun and moon revolving and sword energy crisscrossing. Wherever the sword light passed, the bodies of wild boar beasts were split in two like paper. Blood-spattered flesh flew. Bloody paths were pierced and opened by the sword light. Wherever it passed, all flowers, grass, and trees were cut into, the wounds neat and smooth as jade. In the blink of an eye, the bodies of wild boar beasts piled up like a mountain. Many wild boar beasts charging from behind were stunned by this horrifying sight. With loud roars, these wild boar beasts let out earth-shaking cries and then began to flee back into the wild boar forest. Many wild boar beasts that failed to dodge were knocked down, trampled, and crushed. Kill, kill, kill. Seeing this, the youths were extremely excited, their battle intent soaring, a murderous aura gradually rising, and their sword light becoming even more brilliant and fierce. Wherever each streak of sword light passed, a wild boar was inevitably cut and dismembered. Every move they made was exquisitely precise, their control over power nearly reaching the extreme. The speed, angle, and accuracy of each sword strike embodied a perfect and flawless beauty. This scene was utterly astonishing. They were like born killing machines. 9-rank fortune 50. 9-rank fortune 20. Lu Chen did not act himself. He simply activated his Sun Moon sword talisman, imbuing these youths with his military tactics. He quietly watched his destiny book, observing the dense stream of improvement notifications. Lu Chen was somewhat surprised. He hadn't expected that when these youths killed creatures, the destiny book could also seize fortune. Indeed, these youths were now under the influence of his talisman, their fortune and life force almost merging with his. Their kills were no different from Lu Chen. Watching the continuously growing fortune, Lu Chen felt great joy. Unfortunately, the fortune from these common wild boar beasts was meager. Still, if quality was lacking, quantity would suffice. The number of boars in the wild boar forest far exceeded Lu Chen's expectations. However, these boars posed little threat to the youths. With the blessing of heart purification art and teaching by example, after a month of training, nearly every youth had pushed their potential to the limit. In terms of innate talent alone, each of these youths was exceptionally gifted among their peers. Almost all of them were rarely matched. Using these youths to slaughter common wild boar beasts was like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Moreover, he had blessed them with various military tactics. Thus, each youth fought with enhanced strength, their recovery speed doubled compared to usual. After a quarter of an hour, the wasteland was littered with the bodies of wild boar beasts. Not a single living boar could be seen on the 100,000 mu of barren. Chen looked at his destiny book and found his fortune had reached over 1.3 million. That meant the slaughter of so many boars had only increased his fortune by a little over 5,000. Chen sighed, realizing that whether human or beast, those at the very bottom possessed very little fortune. There were at least 10,000 boar carcasses on the wasteland, yet the fortune he gained was less than what he would have obtained from killing 1,000 heavenly wolf soldiers. Master, we haven't had our fill. We haven't killed enough. Please allow us to charge into the wild boar forest and slaughter every last boar demon. These boars have harmed so many of our Heiha City compatriots, they all deserve to die. We want to wipe them all out blood for blood. As Chen was studying the destiny book, a tall youth approached behind him, bowed respectfully, and made the request. Without turning around, Chen could already sense all the information about the youth. Wu Tian, that was the youth's name. He was one of the most promising youths in this batch. Although his innate destiny was merely an ordinary blood-colored bronze long, his innate destiny talent was extraordinary. Kill fortune slaughtering living beings grants a chance to acquire a small amount of fortune and life essence. This was the talent Chen had discovered when he first found the youth. At that time, Wu Tian was still an ignorant boy on the verge of starving to death in the slum. After over a month of Chen's cultivation, Wu Tian's innate destiny had reached the 8th rank. His talent had also undergone a tremendous change. Kill fortune killing living beings grants 5 of their fortune and life essence. This talent was incredibly mysterious. Aside from the destiny book, this was the first time Chen had seen a talent that could plunder fortune. This youth was practically a born killing machine. Chen was curious about how far this youth could grow. Activating Eye of Fate, he gazed into Wu Tian's destiny palace. He saw that within the palace, the blood-colored bronze longsword of innate destiny had become even more bloody and eerie. The moment he saw the sword, Chen sensed strands of slaughter, blood, and murderous aura being continuously devoured. Each time the blood-colored bronze longsword devoured, it underwent transformation as if undergoing some terrifying evolution. This shocked Chen, as in this world most innate destinies were enhanced through fortune. This was the first time he had seen one evolve by devouring killing intent, murderous aura, and blood energy. What kind of innate destiny is this? How? Chen studied the blood-colored bronze longsword for a few moments before turning his gaze to Wu Tian's fortune, finding it had not increased much. After all, Wu Tian's kill fortune talent was still far inferior to the fortune control talent bestowed upon Chen by the destiny book. Yet Wu Tian's innate destiny left Chen pondering. He wondered what kind of monster Wu Tian would become under his cultivation. Boom. At that moment, terrifying demonic auras and mists surged from the depths of the wild boar forest. Murderous aura, sword, demonic energy rolled. Chen immediately looked up, his Eye of Fate activating automatically. He saw a wild boar formed from fortune emerging from the forest. The fortune-formed wild boar roared skyward and then charged directly toward the wasteland. Clan Fortune. These wild boar beasts have actually condensed Clan Fortune. If not eradicated now, they will become a real threat. Seeing this, Chen's expression turned grave and killing intent gathered in his eyes. He would never allow these wild boar beasts to accumulate great fortune and transform into a demon nation. In this world, the difference between wild beasts and demons was that beasts retained primal instincts, had low intelligence, could not create systems, and could not gather fortune. Once wild beasts gathered fortune, they could use it to transform and become demons. Demons possessed intelligence no less than humans. They established laws and systems, gathered hearts and fortune, and built nations. The ruler of a demon nation could use fortune to awaken the intelligence of beasts, enlighten demon soldiers, and cultivate demon generals. One would not tolerate others snoring beside one's bed. As the warden of Heiha City, Chen would never allow these wild boar beasts to continue developing. Wu Tian stood behind Chen for a long time without receiving any response. Somewhat startled, he looked up and immediately saw the ominous demonic clouds rolling over the wild boar forest with demonic mist billowing. Not only him, but the other youths were also stunned by this sudden anomaly, their gazes fixed intently on the wild boar forest. Boom. At that moment, the demonic mist parted to form a passage, and 3 boar demons with human bodies and pig heads wielding tridents flew out, with over 500 demon soldiers. Seeing this, all the youths' pupils constricted, and their expressions shifted drastically. Demon soldiers. How is this possible? How do these wild boar monsters here have so much fortune to transform and enlighten demon soldiers? Where did they learn to gather fortune? These youths knew that while monsters and demons were the same species, they were well aware of the differences between them. Most monsters had chaotic minds and low intelligence. Though massive and ferocious, they grew very slowly. Demons, however, were different. They possessed intelligence no less than humans, all the talents and abilities of monsters, and a growth rate akin to humans. Most terrifying of all demons could use fortune to refine their bloodlines, nourish their life-bound artifacts, nurture sacred lands, and train demon soldiers. Fortune was almost a universal tool in this world. With enough fortune, anything could be enhanced. Of course, this enhancement was far inferior to Lu Chen's Book of Fate. For instance, if Lu Chen wished to use fortune to strengthen a life-bound artifact, he needed only a single thought to accomplish it. But others who wanted to use fortune to strengthen their life-bound artifacts had to build a nurturing pool, then place the artifact and fortune into the pool, allowing fortune to slowly nourish and reinforce it. With this method, the more powerful the artifact, the longer the time required. Moreover, this process would waste a great amount of fortune. Such was the terror of the Book of Fate. No waste, just a single click to complete the enhancement. If Lu Chen wanted to elevate his innate life phase, he needed only a single breath. But others seeking to elevate their innate life phase required fortune to slowly nurture and gradually transform it. Of course, there were also cultivation techniques in this world that accelerated the use of fortune, but such methods were exceedingly profound and extremely rare. For instance, Wen Ning's Thunder Phoenix creation scripture was one such technique. Nevertheless, once a being in this world mastered the gathering and utilization of fortune, it was an extraordinary feat. Thus, the moment these youths saw the wild boar demons, they became so tense and incredulous. As these boar demons appeared, an instant terrifying bloodlust and pressure spread across the area. Golden spiritual patterns rippled through the void like waves. Wherever they passed, demonic aura expanded, and bloodlust converged into a golden boar phantom as immense as a mountain. Instantly, Lu Chen and the others felt as though their minds were struck by a heavy object, dizzy and disoriented. 5th grade life pattern realm. Divine ability. Activating heart purification art. Lu Chen snapped out of this impact. His expression shifted drastically as he gazed gravely at the leading boar demon king. He hadn't expected this boar demon king to have reached the 5th grade life pattern realm. In this world's cultivation path, once one ascended to the 5th grade life pattern realm, they would transform their life essence into divine ability patterns, thereby mastering a divine ability. Once a cultivator mastered a divine ability, their power underwent earth-shattering changes. How is this possible? I never heard any information about this boar demon king in Wen Ning's inner thoughts. Once a cultivator mastered a divine ability, their power underwent earth-shattering changes. How is this possible? I never heard any information about this boar. In this life, my arrival has stirred it up. Lu Chen looked at the leading boar demon king, a peculiar expression on his face. Because from what he had heard from Wen Ning in his past life, it was the heavenly wolf army that broke Black River City. There was no news of this boar demon king at all. This made him very curious. Could this boar demon king be the legendary practitioner of the way of concealment? Seeing Lu Chen so easily neutralize the divine ability attack, the leading boar king let out a surprised sound. You two-legged beast are quite interesting, able to dispel my innate divine ability mind collision. What talent ability is that? Never mind, no matter what talent you possess, since you dared to slaughter so many of my subjects, you two-legged beasts will all die today. I've stayed here all these years wanting only to live peacefully in this small patch without stirring trouble. Why did you come to provoke me? I've tried my best to restrain my kin, forbidding them from expanding their territory. Yet you detestable two-legged beasts sought them out and slaughtered them. Tell me, don't you deserve death? Lu Chen. He was certain now. This creature was truly a master of concealment. It genuinely intended to hide here and develop in secret. No wonder he hadn't heard any news about the boar demon king from Wen Ning. Formation. Die. This boar demon king was not only concealment-oriented, but also deeply versed in its ways. As soon as he finished speaking, he struck directly with no probing or sending his subordinates. He acted himself. And the boar king exerted all his strength from the start, leaving no chance for survival. He intended to keep Lu Chen and the others trapped here. Boom. As the boar king moved, demonic aura seethed, bloodlust converged, and demonic mist rolled and spread. Golden demonic patterns spanned the sky, gathering all demonic aura and bloodlust, and instantly a mountain-sized boar beast emerged across the void. The beast roared to the heavens, then charged directly at Lu Chen and the others. The earth trembled, the air filled with terrifying malevolent energy, demonic mist swept forth, and an invisible pressure spread, as if the air itself had solidified. At the same time, Lu Chen and the others' minds suffered another invisible collision. Their hearts pounded violently, as if about to burst. Heart purification art activated, and Lu Chen regained clarity. Boom. The Sun-Moon Sword Form Talisman emerged instantly, enveloping all the youths, and heart purification art surged through their bodies along the magnetic field. All the youths immediately snapped awake, their faces filled with fear and lingering dread. Before they could react, Lu Chen's life essence poured into their life palaces, taking control of their life essences. A black and white sword light pierced the sky with the sun and moon shining together, Wherever the sword light passed, the demonic mist was instantly cleaved apart. The radiant sword light pierced through layers of clouds like a great sun pouring light upon the world. The sword light moved like a swimming dragon, leaping in the blink of an eye to slice through the void, vanishing instantly. Boom. The mountain-like boar crashed into the wasteland, sending mud flying and shattering vegetation instantly. A pit over 10 meters deep appeared with jagged cracks spreading outward from it in all directions. Roar. Seeing Lu Chun and the others vanish, the mountain-like boar roared to the heavens, unleashing a terrifying sound wave that swept across the area, reducing the surrounding trees to dust in an instant. Damn two-legged beast, come out for this king. On the wasteland, unable to find any trace of Lu Chun and his companions, the wild boar demon king was furious. He had never encountered such an exasperating foe. This eerie sword light was far too swift, far too elusive. What troubled the wild boar demon king even more was his fear that Lu Chun might flee. If Lu Chun escaped, his secrets would surely be exposed. Once word of this place spread beyond, the wild boar demon king's situation would become dire. Firstly, the aristocratic families and sects of Black River City would never allow him to continue growing. Secondly, the garrison command would surely dispatch experts to eliminate him. Lastly, forces like the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom would never permit the Wild Boar Demon King to remain hidden. His fate would be only one: submission, becoming a pawn or servant of the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom. This was not what the Wild Boar Demon King desired. He yearned to watch the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom and the humans of Mingzhou tear each other apart, ideally both sides weakened, so he could annex the Heavenly Wolf Demon Kingdom's territory or even replace it. Alas, all this was ruined by Lu Chun and his group. How could the Wild Boar Demon King not hate, not panic? Yet no matter how he roared or searched, he found no trace of Lu Chun. Even eroding and dominating the void with his demonic mist proved futile. 1 breath, 2 breaths. After over 100 breaths, the Wild Boar Demon King finally gave up. He dispelled the demonic array, then looked up at the sky and cursed. Bastard. Damned coward. Don't let this king see you again. Damn it, the Wild Boar Forest is no longer safe. I must hurry back and pack. Whoosh. Before he could finish, his expression shifted, and he immediately looked up at the void. What he saw infuriated him beyond measure. A black and white sword light, like a celestial immortal, descending suddenly leaped out from the void. Instantly the sun and moon converged, heaven and earth transformed. The dazzling sword light pierced through layers of demonic mist, cascading down like sunlight and moonlight. At that moment, a terrifying sword intent pervaded the void, turning the area into an ocean of sword chi. Where the sword light passed, flora, air, and clouds trembled, then erupted with sword chi. Sword chi. At that instant, all things in heaven and earth seemed to become swords. This was Lu Chen's heavenly sword talent. Almost immediately, the Wild Boar Demon King heard screams behind him. Without turning, his powerful divine sense perceived everything. The demon soldiers he brought were being pierced and sliced like scarecrows by streams of sword chi. In the blink of an eye, aside from the Wild Boar Demon King and 2 boar demon generals behind him, the demon soldiers were slaughtered. No, human, you shall die. Witnessing this, the Wild Boar Demon King was so enraged his teeth cracked. These demon soldiers were his foundation. How many resources and how much fortune had he consumed to enlighten and nurture them? With these soldiers, he could rise swiftly in the 10,000 mountains and become a regional lord. Alas! Roar! The Wild Boar Demon King let out a furious roar. Monstrous demonic energy surged skyward, shattering the sword chi in the air. Second brother. Third brother. Join me to stop them. Today I will tear them limb from limb. Then the Wild Boar Demon King transformed into a golden light, shooting up like a cannonball, crashing toward the black and white sword light that was Lu Chun. Boom. The Wild Boar Demon King was incredibly fast. The golden light rippled with golden spirit patterns like waves thundering through the air. Yet he was fast, but Lu Chen's sword light was faster. The Sword Heart Illumination talent granted Lu Chun an instinctive unity of man and sword, allowing him to merge with the sword and traverse the void at will. The Heavenly Sword talent bestowed upon him the trait of unity with heaven and earth, enabling him to wield the sword light and roam through the myriad phenomena of the cosmos, comprehending their essence. The Sun Moon Sword Talisman had fused the life essence of over 100 youths with Lu Chen's own. Combined with various fate talents, military tactics, cultivation techniques, and the energy source of the 6th grade Bright Light Sword. These formidable traits and talents elevated Lu Chen's power far beyond his cultivation level. Though he was only at the 7th grade Life Spring realm, his explosive strength and abilities were far beyond what a 7th grade cultivator could possess. Facing the Wild Boar Demon King's charge and interception, Lu Chun did not evade this time. He activated the Sun Moon Revolving Art to its peak, triggering the trait Sun Moon Body. Instantly, the sword light he transformed into radiated with the brilliance of sun and moon in unison, light and dark alternating sun and moon revolving. At this moment all of Lu Chen's attributes were amplified tenfold, coupled with the 600 attack boost from his Sword Heart Illumination talent and 100 boosts in agility, kai-breaking, and critical strike from military tactics. Boom. The sword light Lu Chen became suddenly blazed dozens of times brighter, piercing through the void as strands of lightning evolved. The sword's hum echoed like thunderclaps in the air. The sword light was like a great sun patrolling the heavens, purging all evil in its path. The demonic mist was cleansed and annihilated. You? Seeing this, the wild boar demon king's pupils contracted. He was stunned. He could not comprehend how a mere 7th grade cultivator could suddenly unleash such inhuman speed and power. No, impossible. At that moment the wild boar demon king felt his first stand on end, an endless chill and piercing sensation rising from his vision was filled with that stark black and white sword light which pierced through layers of demonic mist like a celestial immortal descending, or the sun and moon revolving with the passage of time unfolding. The sword light reached him almost the instant he laid eyes on it. Great sound is silent, great form is formless. There was no cataclysmic collision, no deafening explosion. Only the sight of the sword light shattering the layers of golden spirit patterns around the wild boar demon king, causing ripples of broken fragments. The wild boar demon king watched as his divine abilities' fate patterns shattered like ripples under that sword light. Then the sword light pierced through his layers of protective fate light and through his brain. His brain was instantly flooded with endless sword chi, with visions of sun and moon revolving, unfolding within. Big brother, great king. The 2 boar demon generals behind him froze at the sight. Then came boundless terror and despair. They had never imagined their king would die like this. At this moment they harbored no thoughts of revenge or rage. Their first instinct was to flee. But the instant that thought emerged, their vision was filled with black and white sword light. Then their world became an eternal monochrome. Oh! With the death of the wild boar demon king and the 2 generals, an almost imperceptible wail echoed over the wild boar forest. Activating his eye of fate, Lu Chen saw the fortune, shaped like a boar, suddenly collapse. Then these fortunes were manipulated by a mysterious force and fell into his fate palace. The great battle had concluded, leaving behind a profound silence. Every youth was dazed and awestruck, their gazes fixed upon Lu Chen, brimming with intense admiration and reverence. Though they were dominated and controlled by Lu Chen's military tactics, their consciousness and thoughts remained intact. They had witnessed this unbelievable battle with their own. When the wild boar demon king appeared and unleashed its divine might and pressure, these youths believed their doom was sealed. But Lu Chen stepped forward, shattered the demon king's divine ability, and led them to vanish into the void with the sword light, leaving the boar king utterly unable to track their whereabouts. Just as they were celebrating their narrow escape, Lu Chen led them in a surprise counterattack and slew the 5th-rank wild boar demon king with a single sword stroke. This utterly shattered these youths' perceptions and worldviews. They had never imagined that a 7th-rank life spring cultivator could transcend 2 major realms to slay a 5th-rank life pattern expert. Such feats existed only in legends or historical records. They had only heard tales of peerless generals commanding vast armies, crossing multiple realms to defeat the strong with the weak. They had always believed these were merely legends. But today they knew it was not a myth. Yet as they glanced at each other, they began to question their own existence. For the army Lu Chen commanded today was not a mighty host of thousands, but merely the 110 of them, naive youths. These youths were unaware that Lu Chen's ability to cross realms and slay the wild boar demon king relied entirely on his various talents and special attributes. They all believed Lu Chen's victory was primarily due to his military strategy. Thus at this moment each youth's heart was filled with an intense desire and curiosity to learn the art of war. Seeing this, a faint smile curled at the corner of Lu Chen's mouth. Over the past month, he had discovered the terrifying power of his Book of Fate. With sufficient fortune, this Book of Fate could turn the impossible into reality. Lu Chen could use the Book of Fate to cultivate talents, generate various abilities, deduce any cultivation method, and empower his lifebound artifact. These youths were the first seeds he chose to nurture. For Lu Chen, innate destiny was unimportant. What he needed was absolute loyalty and obedience. As long as one was faithful to him, even a cripple could be transformed into a capable individual. Since these youths wished to learn military strategy, Lu Chen saw no reason to be stingy. With teaching by precept and example and heart-cleansing art, Lu Chen believed that before long each of these youths would become a commander or even a grand strategist well-versed in the art of war. Lu Chen could also use the Book of Fate to deduce military strategies tailored to their talents. Thinking of this, Lu Chen suddenly saw a radiant future ahead. All he needed to do was continuously accumulate fortune, nurture talents, and enhance his own strength. With perseverance and unwavering effort, the day would come when he could sweep away all obstacles and stand undefeated. The Boar Forest. Lu Chen led the group of youths on a relentless campaign of slaughter and plunder. Wherever they passed, all resources, medicinal herbs, precious ores, spices, jade, and more, were stripped clean. Lu Chen maximized the use of his spirit communication talent awakened upon reaching the 7th rank, Innate Destiny. In this primeval ancient forest, he could commune with the flora, gathering information from the plants. In this wild and ancient forest, the vegetation recorded everything with perfect clarity, where demon beasts lurked, where resources lay, and where by the time Lu Chen led the youths to the lair of the wild boar demon king, each of them was burdened with bundles of resources and treasures. They were so buried under resources and valuables that their figures were barely visible. Lu Chen was speechless. Watching over 100 moving mounds his eyelids, he had been so focused on searching for treasures that he had completely overlooked the youths. He looked toward the wild boar demon king's lair in the distance, where a series of grand luxurious palaces were built into the mountainside. This was the demon king's lair. There were bound to be many treasures. Moreover, the carcasses of the wild boar demon beasts scattered across the wasteland were a vital source of meat. These demon beast corpses could not only be sold, but also used to nurture an army. In this world, building a military force required not only training, but also vast amounts of resources and food. Among these demon beast carcasses were the optimal food source for an army. Thinking of this, Lu Chen felt a pang of frustration. The manpower he had brought was far. If only I had a spatial artifact. A spatial artifact. Suddenly inspiration struck Lu Chen. He turned his gaze to the Book of Fate, looking at his fortune column. Fortune 9th rank 153065888. This was Lu Chen's current fortune value, the largest sum he had ever seen. Consume 1 million 9th rank fortune to carve a spatial pocket within the palm of my right hand. The moment the thought took shape, Lu Chen saw a mysterious force surge within his right palm. With a rumble, as if heaven and earth were being split apart, a void began to evolve in his right palm. Countless silver spiritual patterns and runes were born, interweaving to form intricate, three-dimensional structures. He activated heart cleansing art to its peak, his mind becoming infinitely clear and his spirit intensely focused. Simultaneously, his soul began to visualize the various sword forms of the basic sword art. The sword heart of clarity talent was awakened. At the same time, he activated the sun-moon cyclic art, manifesting the celestial phenomenon of sun and moon shining together. The sun-moon body was triggered, amplifying all his attributes tenfold. At this moment, Lu Chen's comprehension and thought processes reached an unprecedented height. Watching the space being forged in his palm, observing the evolving silver runes and patterns, his understanding and perception of space deepened continuously. The 4 cardinal directions and up and down are called Yu. The past, present, and future are called Zhou. The cosmos encompasses all phenomena containing heaven and earth. Time and space are omnipresent yet elusive to perception and observation. But now Lu Chen had glimpsed a sliver of the mysteries of space. The vibrations of space, the patterns of space, the structure of space, the cutting of space. All these mysteries enraptured him, yet they felt unfathomably profound, difficult to comprehend, and impossible to fully perceive. Suddenly, the evolution of space came to an abrupt halt. Lu Chen awakened from the boundless ocean of silver runes and patterns. In that instant, he realized his vision of the surrounding void had changed completely. His perception of directions and the void around him had reached a new level. The trajectories of air currents, the flow of gentle breezes, the drifting paths of dust particles. All were now perceived by Lu Chen with absolute clarity. Talent Spatial Super Sense 8th rank 000. Trait possesses extraordinary perception and insight of the surrounding void, capable of observing the trajectories of objects within it. Upon seeing this talent, Lu Chen's face twitched slightly. He felt it was somewhat ordinary. He quickly turned his gaze to his right palm, and when he looked, a smile of pleasant surprise finally appeared on his face. A space roughly 10 meters in length, width, and height had appeared in the palm of his right hand. This space was vast, empty, silent, devoid of any life or vitality, yet Lu Chen was overjoyed. This meant he now possessed a portable space. Under the astonished gaze of the young boys, Lu Chen casually waved his right hand, and in an instant, all the bundles of resources and treasures on these boys vanished. The boys were stunned, but none dared to ask further. Soon after, cries of agony echoed from the wild boar demon king's lair, where the wild boar demon beasts left behind were slaughtered by the boys. With the aid of his talent for spiritual communication, Lu Chen led the group of boys to thoroughly ransack the wild boar demon king's lair. All treasures and resources belonging to the wild boar demon king fell into Lu Chen's hands. Behind a palace in the wild boar demon king's lair, Lu Chen discovered an ancient tomb. Unfortunately, apart from a massive skeleton, everything else had been squandered by the wild boar demon king. Evidently, the wild boar demon king had risen to power thanks to this ancient tomb. Lu Chen found some demon clan cultivation techniques and the inheritance for creating a luck altar to gather fortune among the wild boar demon king's relics. 3rd grade breathing technique, indestructible Vajra technique. Divine ability, mind strike. Divine ability, savage tread. divine ability, indestructible body. Through these inheritances, Lu Chen discovered that the ancient tomb obtained by the wild boar demon king was the burial site of a third-grade indestructible pig demon. The indestructible pig demon is a type of pig demon with fur and skin akin to being forged from gold. This tribe possesses immense physical strength and formidable defense and power. When the central ancient demon clan's imperial court existed, the indestructible demon clan were nearly unmatched warriors of the demon court. Ever since the demon clan imperial court was destroyed by the great Qian emperor Su Songqiong, the indestructible demon clan completely vanished from records. Lu Chen did not expect to encounter the inheritance of this tribe here. Moreover, these inheritances were specifically meant for the demon clan, suitable only for if other human cultivators were to acquire these inheritances, they could at best use them as references. However, in Lu Chen's hands, he could modify these inheritances using fortune to make them suitable for human cultivation. Heha City. In the underground courtyard of the garrison office, Lu Chen was digging a tunnel with 5 young boys. Wu Tian and the other boys surrounded the area above, their eyes wide in shock and curiosity, as if they had witnessed something astonishing. If someone were here, they would undoubtedly have expressions similar to Wu Tian's. This was because Lu Chen and his group's method of digging was truly bizarre and astonishing. The leading boy pressed his hand against the dirt, and instantly the soil transformed into neatly arranged square blocks of earth. Before long, under the control of this boy, a massive cavern was excavated. His name was Dushan, an exceptionally ordinary and honest young boy among the one. His innate fate was a lump of mud. When Lu Chen saw this innate fate through the eye of destiny, he was taken aback. Fortunately, Lu Chen's thinking differed from that of the people in this world. He believed that there were only worthless people in this world, not worthless innate fates, or even the most worthless innate fate. Lu Chen was confident he could bring out its value. Under Lu Chen's guidance, Dushan's innate fate evolved from a lump of mud to an 8th-grade earth mound, awakening his earth control talent. Now Dushan's talent proved that Lu Chen's initial thoughts were correct. To Lu Chen, Dushan was a natural-born earth saint body. Aside from Dushan, the other 4 boys were similar. Sure, Bis' innate fate was a stubborn rock, and his control talent was transform mud to stone. Under his control, the earth bricks created by Dushan quickly transformed into stone bricks, turning the tunnel into a stone cavern. Wei Feng, with an innate fate of a hoe, had the talent of digging. This guy was extremely adept at digging tunnels and farming. Wang Er's innate fate was a soil mouse, and his talent was earth escape. Huang Dong's innate fate was a jade stone with the talent of mining. Dushan Shi, by Wei Feng, Wang Er, and Huang Dong's talents were all related to dealing with the earth. Thus Lu Chen assigned them to dig the cellar. Of course, the main contributors this time were still Wei Feng, Dushan, and Shi Bai. In just under half an hour, they excavated an extremely large stone cavern. Then, with a wave of Lu Chen's hand, the corpses of wild boar demon beasts instantly appeared in the stone cavern. Soon after, 3 boys emerged, continuously casting beams of spiritual light, and the temperature in the stone cavern began to plummet as snowflakes began to fall. Before long, the entire stone cavern was frozen. Upon witnessing this scene, Lu Chen nodded in satisfaction. With these boys around, the meat of these demon beasts could be preserved. What are you doing? At that moment, a crisp and melodious voice suddenly echoed from above, and Lu Chen was momentarily taken aback upon hearing it. Wen Ning, how did you get here? The instant he heard that voice, Lu Chen instantly recognized who it was, which left him feeling somewhat bewildered. Since coming to Heha City a month ago, both Wen Ning and Lu Chen had been extremely busy. Wen Ning was busy opening a shop, establishing supply channels, and creating her commercial platform. At first, Lu Chen paid attention to her, but he soon discovered that Wen Ning had subdued and underground forced the Black Tiger Gang in just 3 days, seizing their supply channels and resources. The entire Black Tiger Gang, from the leader down to the members, had been bound by Wen Ning's secret techniques. Once she had control over their lives and deaths, she sent them all to the wild, ancient forest to hunt, gather medicinal herbs, and search for treasures. After subduing the Black Tiger Gang, Wen Ning did not stop there. In just 10 days, she swept through all the factions on the eastern street of Heha City. The members of those factions became her hunting and treasure-searching teams, providing her with a large quantity of medicinal herbs and resources every day. She also flaunted her banner, leveraging her status as the garrison commander's wife, causing the noble clans and sects to hesitate to act against her. Even if they sent assassins to kill Wen Ning, they usually ended up with no return. Thus, under Lu Chen's astonished gaze, Wen Ning thrived in Heha City, her business. Upon seeing her succeed in Heha City, Lu Chen no longer paid attention to her. He devoted all his energy to nurturing talent. Thus, the two had been busy with their own matters for the past month and had not seen each other for a long time. Therefore, Lu Chen felt somewhat puzzled when he suddenly heard Wen Ning's, "Who are you? Bold. Who are you? How dare you invade the garrison commander's estate? You seek death." At that moment, the boys watching from above finally reacted. Since arriving at the garrison commander's estate, they had not seen Wen Ning. Thus one by one they drew their long swords, their expressions filled with vigilance and astonishment as they fixed their eyes on the suddenly appeared girl. When Ning's appearance was simply too strange. These boys had not noticed how or when she had arrived. 8th grade. 8th grade. Still 8th grade. At this moment when Ning was equally stunned. Looking at these boys exuding powerful auras, waves of shock surged within her heart. What happened? It's only been a month since we last met, and my humble husband has cultivated so many talents. How is that possible? Did he stumble upon the treasures of the ancient imperial court,